Welcome to the Loshak in the Bag show here on Pub Sports Radio, which we do every single Tuesday. We've been doing it every Tuesday for a while now. It's been awesome for me and all the low baggers and Jimmy the Bag. Huge shout out to all the low baggers. There's so many great, really impressive handicappers in the low bag fan. But for this next 10 seconds, I am going to single out Mike Nutflush Allen, who is blowing my mind a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm wearing my hippie hat here for a little bit of a good luck change of pace here, maybe. Mike Nutflush Allen, huge shout out to you for some impressive capping. And I'm not talking about this last week or two. I'm talking about the last 4 or 5 months. The dude is friggin' impressing me more than Jose. Way more than Jose. If I had to choose a handicapper on my team, would I choose Jose or Nutflush Allen? No question I would choose Nutflush Allen. That's how impressive he is. Huge shout out to you, Nutflush Allen. Jimmy the Bag, it's great to be doing another show with you. You know what we're going to be doing today, though. Jimmy the Bag, don't act like you don't know what's going to happen in this show. Jim's like, no, I didn't see any minus 450 favorite on the NHL card. I don't know. I didn't see anything. I didn't see a minus 500 favorite that we're going to be going all in on, -1. The other thing is that we do have 9. Is that right? Am I living in alternate? We have 9 NBA games, right?
That's right. Yep.
Well, I'm prepared for them. I kind of chose Tuesdays to do this show with Jim to avoid big NBA cards, and that was successful up until today. We got 9 games, but I am prepared for it, Jimmy the Bag. So let's try to keep a brisk pace because I don't want 12 o'clock to run around and we're like halfway through the NHL card. You know what I'm saying, Jimmy the Bag? It's great to be back. And I'm about to end. I'm not on Twitter that much, but I did catch that tweet that you posted saying that you've had an unusually good week in the low bag show, as have many of the commenters in the comment section. Is that true? Tell me about that, Jimmy the Bag.
That's true. That's across the board. In fact, I would think that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, as a entire group, was the best run that we've ever had with everybody together. The guests were just hitting unbelievably strong winners. I believe Durrell, I'd have to check it over, but I believe Durrell is 10-2, and his 2 losses were both Siakam over 5.5 assist props. He went 10-0 on sides and totals. We had a 6-0 day from Mr. Gokster. We had on Thursday, and that day Dutch Boy Fresh went 2-0. So the two guests went 8-0. I've gone from down 20 plus units, down 23 units to down 7.62 in NBA. I'm on a 28-12 run plus 15.33 units. In NHL, everything was falling apart for me. I'm gone on a 10-5 run plus 7.41 units. I kept the weekend very clean. I had the 49ers on the money line and the spread, and then I had the St. Louis Blues. The St. Louis Blues, the biggest NHL bet I've made all year. My pops also threw 500 on the Blues. That's the biggest bet I think I've ever seen him make. It's the biggest bet he's ever asked me to make for him. Jeez. So we had a K down on the Blues. Wow. His was all money line. Mine was split up money line and creating a -1 line. But I remember, why was I succeeding back before I even went down to Costa Rica? It was because I would take advantage of situations. If there was a situation, I would say, "Oh, I've got to take advantage of this." It wasn't about the volume betting or anything like I'm doing now. Here's a spot that I'm very confident in. Yeah. So let's open it up and make a big bet on it. It's all coming together, Pete.
I'm very happy to hear that, Jimmy the Bag. It's so great when you're in a good mood. Although when you're in a good mood, you tend to talk more, which is awesome, except when we have 25 NHL and NBA games on the card and then college basketball. I looked a little bit at college basketball. Of course, college basketball right now and for a while in my life has been my forte. But just for today's show, I just decided to get fully prepared for NHL and NBA. And I'm not fully prepared for college basketball every single game. So we'll be leaning on Maxwell Smart for that. I'll be interested what he had to say about William and Mary. I did bet William and Mary at plus 13. I made a few bets, but I didn't go over every game and have an opinion like I did last time. So it'll be a fun show, Jimmy the Bag, right?
I'm very, very excited. I'm very, very excited to attack this card. I've made 5 bets in NHL already. I want the Oilers, but I do want to know who's going to be in for the Vancouver Canucks. So we'll go into that. Want to give a shout out to all you guys. We don't have time. Pete's right. We have 53 minutes more that I've allotted for NHL. 52 minutes. So Maxwell Smart is coming on second. The plan is to have Maxwell Smart on at 12 p.m. and Trot Wam on at 12:30 p.m. So NHL, NCAA, NBA. Shout out to all you guys joining us. Sammy Calmer, Nate Dogg, North Ender, Nut Flush. There he is. Jansen, Amsterdam. What else? Danny A, Dennis Garcia, Coco Bongo, Danny Lopez, BT. North Ender has the Garland double-double at plus 205. Cash that with Mobley double-double plus 140 in that game. Great job. North Ender, Henry Dice, Mark Schillingberg, C. James, J. Peasy, Jimmy Gomez, Billy Friedrich, Alex Ramirez, and there's Guillermo Zertucci. Says Jimmy, Emilio Estevan, and I are booked and ready for San Antonio. See you in exactly 2 months. That is just incredible. I'm so excited about it. I'm not leaving my apartment for the next 3 months. We're certainly not going on any trips of any kind whatsoever. I'm just going to think about San Antonio and doing it up with all you guys. Slatsy, great to see you. Says Flyers 0-7 last 7 versus the Islanders. Says historical trends matter. Islanders regulation. Well, I could care less about historical trends, and I'm on the Oilers with you. And maybe I shouldn't say care less. There's Dan Kelly. He's got his action here in the chat. So we are working on a graphic for Dan Kelly, a much-deserved graphic, and I wanted to have I was going over his looks on Friday. I was like, oh, my God, Dan didn't give us any. So, yes, he's 44 and 37, and I'm tracking him now, hitting at 54.3% on the show, and he has offered us his NBA action. Pete, let's attack, my man. Let's attack. Let's start in NHL. Take it away.
Let's go. Huge shout out to everyone. All right, let me just we're going to keep a brisk pace here. All right, the first game we're going to look at is Buffalo, Ottawa, right, Jim?
I believe so. Sorry, I'm just putting down Dan's NBA.
Buffalo, Ottawa. I just want to get the
Buffalo,
order,
Ottawa.
The graphics. Okay, Buffalo, Ottawa. You know, we covered the last time they played on the 18th, and I didn't take Ottawa on that one, but I did take the Ottawa team total over, and that one lost. And the question here, I think, is who is in goal for Buffalo, right? Because if it's Dell, I think they're an auto fade, despite the fact that Buffalo has clearly been undervalued as a big dog, over the past bunch of weeks. But Dell is, and I saw this morning Dell expected. Now I'm not sure what if that was just something they put up there as a placeholder. But if Dell's in goal, Ottawa feels like one of those teams that is going to get you a win here and there, but in general should not be a minus 160 or 180 fave against anyone. Maybe the exception to that is Buffalo with Dell in goal. So, I'm not sure. And, the question here is exactly how mediocre is Ottawa, and who's in goal for Buffalo. Would you disagree with that analysis, Jim?
I wouldn't disagree with the analysis. And also, by the way, just very quickly, the taint play today is in UCLA plus 3.5, and he's on the money line as well. We're going to talk about that when we get to college basketball. Matty Ice, by the way, Pete's been getting over COVID. It is so great. I just by seeing the exclamation marks, I believe that he is a much healthier than he's been. There's Rodney Barton, Billy Friedrich, Cab, my man in the house. So there's two things at play here, Pete. One, obviously, I have a bias from what happened the last time these two teams met, when I was very confident on Ottawa, and Dennis Garcia was adamant about Ottawa not being shouldn't be that big of a favorite. I got in on Ottawa at minus 165. They were minus 215 when we got to the show, and of course Michael Hauser stood on his head in that game. I agree with you that Aaron Dell, I've said it many times, is probably the worst goaltender in the NHL, but I've also said many times that he's beloved by his teammates, and that's why he always has a job, and he can step up in situations. And we called the situation that he stepped up in, I forget what game it was, but we cashed a huge money line so this isn't a situation where Aaron Dell is being chosen to lead the way. This is a situation where they have their top 4 goaltenders injured, and he's their 5th string, and he has been better. The big question I have for Ottawa, is Matt Murray going to be in goal? How could they not go with Anton Forsberg? How in the world, after Anton Forsberg is the first star in his game in their win at Columbus on Sunday, could they not go back to him? I'd love to know if anybody in the chat has that information, because if Matt Murray's in goal, there's simply no way I can take Ottawa Senators at this big of a favorite.
Really?
Also,
that's that big of a factor for you, Jim.
Matt, well, I don't think there's a big difference between Matt Murray and Aaron Dell. I think they are two of the worst goaltenders in the NHL. Yes, very much so. And But if it's Anton Forsberg, that changes a ton. Also, Buffalo Sabres have a better power play than the Ottawa Senators, and that is an important piece. Their penalty killing is slightly worse than Ottawa's. Sabres coming off their second win in 3 games, 6-3 victory at home versus Philadelphia on Saturday night. Tage Thompson stepping up in a big way. 14 goals, 14 assists, 28 points in 38 games. He's got 10 power play points. Rasmus Dahlin looks like he is going to be a worthy number 1 overall pick. He's showing the first real glimpses, at least for me, that he's an elite defenseman. He's tied with Thompson for the team lead with 28 points, leads the team with 11 power play points. Look, I shit all over Jeff Skinner all the time. He's a figure skater. He actually was a figure skater, and he still has a lot of those elements while he's prancing around, staying away from the dirty areas in NHL games. But he's quietly on pace for a 30-goal season. He's got 16 goals. They're dealing with a ton of injuries. They're missing 3 right wingers from their depth chart, and Jack Quinn, Kyle Okaposo, and Vinny Hinostroza. Defenseman Will Butcher and Colin Miller are out of the lineup with injuries. But do I really want the Senators? First off, we don't have Jimmy Gomez has Dell versus Murray at the moment. Billy Friedrich says Murray's listed as likely. So there's absolutely no chance I want anything to – there's no advantage now, Murray versus Dell. There's no advantage goaltending in my estimation. But Drake Batherson is the real deal. 12 goals, 21 assists, 33 points in 30 games played. He's a +4, which is 1 off the team lead. He has 10 power play points. They're without right wingers Connor Brown, Scott Sabrin, and Nikita Zaitsev has been dealing with a heel injury since December 15th. I don't think that the Senators should be this big favorites. I expect them to win the game, but I'm not going to bet on them.
I'll read some comments here. First of all, Jansen says Rutgers equals money at home. I'm all over this. Jansen, yes, I bet Rutgers as well. I was hoping for 3. I got 3.5. I didn't love taking it, but definitely that is another bet that I made. Just as far as Murray versus Dell is concerned, I don't follow it as closely as you do, and I trust you that Murray is awful. But if you look over his last few starts, on the road against Washington, a loss in OT. Before that, on the road against Edmonton, win. On the road against Calgary, win. Aaron Dell, Buffalo's 1-8 in the 9 games that he started.
Yeah, but let's go over Dell's last few games then, because
1-8 on the year in the games that he started.
Yeah, look, he looked awful to start the year, awful. But the first game that we backed him was against Nashville, stopped 29 of 30 shots. Then they lose a home and home with Detroit. He allows 7 goals. One of them was an overtime 3-on-3 goal. And then they lose 5-4 Dallas and not look good. Sure, if you want to say Matt Murray is a little bit better than Aaron Dell, sure. But I just don't think there's a goaltending advantage necessarily between the two, or at least there's just not a big enough edge on the Ottawa Senators. I expect the Senators to win the game, but I just can't move on it.
Okay, so I was an inch away from taking. We got to move on, but I was an inch away from taking Ottawa. But you think this line is just too high and not and you can't pull the trigger on it.
No, I mean, if you're going to take them on the -1 line, I get it. Let me just move over to it right now. It's -175 and +135 in my book. I get it. Okay. I don't think it's a bad move.
Maybe I'll add it later, but we got to move on, right, Jim the Bag?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's move on. Next one I have is Dallas and New Jersey. Is that one on the is that next on the slate for you guys, right? Dallas, New Jersey. Yep, I'm just looking at the okay, yeah, there we go. All right, Dallas and New Jersey. Not sure what I think about this one. I was actually thinking maybe about a shot with the over. Of course, Dallas won 3 in a row on their current road trip, played last night at Philly and won. The Devils, not that good, lost 4 or 5, but they had won 4 or 5 before that. I'm interested to hear your take on the Devils in general right now and going forward, because that will inform me. And I think that Mackenzie Blackwood is supposed to be in goal for New Jersey today. He's day-to-day, saying he could return against the Stars. And, my thought here was maybe best to pass, but I was definitely thinking maybe a shot with the over. What do you think, Jimmy the Bag?
I moved on the over. Slatsy, Mac is supposed to return today, but Slatsy has Mac on IR. If he's on IR, then he would have to miss 3 games, so he wouldn't be playing. But they had expected him to be back. That's crucial. Regardless,
right?
It's going to help if he's not in the lineup, it's going to help the over. I moved on the over 5.5 at -125. That's a lot of juice for a total and I don't like that much juice on the total. But I moved on it. We're at Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Let's pull up the lines here and see if we've had any changes. Let's update here for a second. So two of the moves that I made last night have moved against me. This is one of them. I got the Devils plus 110. They're now at plus 120. Let's see if any books have moved this to an over here, to a 6, and see if anyone has. And not really. Not really. I was hoping that the 6 would come soon. I do not trust Braden Holtby. Birdie and I have gone back and forth about Holtby. I think that the strong start he had was sort of a mirage. I think he's very vulnerable on the back end, and the total will look much better if Gillies is in net and it's not Blackwood. Dallas, 27% power play, 76.9% penalty killing. New Jersey, just 16.5% power play. I've been saying for a long time, as soon as their power play starts rolling, which it should at some point with Hughes and Hischier, I know that Dougie Hamilton's out of the lineup with that jaw injury, but still, they have enough talent to get that power play going. When that power play gets rolling, we should back them. But I'm backing them here. Penalty killing, 82.3%. So what? The Dallas Stars have won 3 straight games. I mean, look at this road trip so far. They win 5-4 at Buffalo, barely. They win 5-4 Detroit, barely. They beat Philly, who's lost 12 straight, 3-1. They're 7-12-1 on the road. They started this road trip, 4-12-1 on the road. This is a second half of a back-to-back. Radek Faksa, who's an important part, missed last night's game with the non-COVID illness. Important part in the depth and face-off winning and defensive responsibility. Radulov is finally back from COVID. He's a goal in 33 games played. If he gets rolling, then look out. Pavelski, Robertson, and Hintz are an incredible line. I'd say they're in the discussion as the top line for me in the NHL. Certainly would be in the top 5 for me. Devils lost their 4th in 5 games on Sunday, 3-2 at home to Los Angeles. This is the final game of their 4-game homestand. A must-win situation for me, especially if I was coaching. I would be laying in. We have to win this last game of the homestand against this tired Dallas Stars team that's not being good on the road. That's got to be, feeling it on the 4th game of this road trip. Jesper Bratt continues to impress. 13 goals, 23 assists, 36 points in 37 games. 12 more points than their captain in 2017 first overall pick, Nico Hischier. Jack Hughes is a -9 in 23 games played. He only has 23 points, so he's not scoring enough to look past the -9 in 23 games. It's not acceptable. Those two need to step up or I'll lose this bet. If Hughes and Hischier don't step up tonight, I'm going to lose money here. Dougie Hamilton remains out long-term. I'm on the Devils plus 110, and if I bet right now, it could get plus 120, right. But I'm not too concerned. Now, I think that market move might have to do with what Slatsy's saying, which I'm going to look up right now if it is Gillies and not Blackwood. So let me check it out.
Okay, well, I'm going to make an official play here. I'll take the Devils team total over 2.5 -117. That's the current line at Pinnacle. If you shop around, you can probably get better, but I'll take that one. Devils team total over 2.5 -117, and I'd lean over and lean Devils as well, but I guess I'll just hold off and just take the Devils team total over. Really liking the over because our man, Nutflush Allen, says that Dallas team total over 3.5 at plus money is on the radar. Over 3.5 at plus 135 on the radar. 2 seconds, Jimmy the Bag. What's your take on that?
It makes sense. So Slatsy's bang on getting backed up here by Andrew G saying Blackwood placed on IR an hour ago. So it will be Gillies in there. That's the reason why there's been a 10-cent move. Mm-hmm. The over, I bet you will hit 6. People will see that Gillies has announced they hit 6. Dallas Nutflush has been destroying these NHL team totals.
Yeah.
Been so sharp.
All right.
And I get it. But I if I had known Gillies was in net, I had expected Blackwood to return. I probably don't make this bet on the Devils, so I'm a little uncomfortable.
All right. I might add on the full game over as well, but as of right now, just Devils team total over 2.5 -117. And Henry Dice says Devils again as well. He likes that one. All right, let's move on, Jimmy the Bag.
Just quickly, what was the juice on the over 2.5?
-117. -117.
Okay, let's roll.
Okay, next one. Here we go. Right, here we go. Arizona, Pittsburgh. You can write me down before we do any analysis here. Pittsburgh -1. Let's see what that line is, Jimmy the Bag. No, I'm not gonna. That's a joke. That's a joke, Jimmy the Bag. Pittsburgh 16 of last 18. Right. Arizona though a plus 517 dog at Colorado in January, and I was all in on Colorado on that one. Thankfully won it, but it went to OT. They lost in a shootout, and Arizona's actually 5-7 in their last 12. So if Pittsburgh was minus 250 here, maybe I'd go all in on them. But at minus 450, I guess you can't, right? I was thinking about maybe another over here, over even at 6, maybe an over.
Yeah, I think anytime Arizona's playing, I can understand an over. You have Kessel coming back to Pittsburgh. If they fight fire with the Pittsburgh Penguins, they're going to lose. Mm-hmm. I would instruct the team to play very tight, conservative hockey. But if it's Wedgwood in net, which is the plan at this point, I'd be concerned about it. Arizona's power play just at 12%, penalty killing 72.8%. Pittsburgh power play at 17.7%. Watch that number just go up and up and up with Malkin back. 89.1% penalty killing. Coyotes coming off their second straight loss, 7-3 at the Rangers on Saturday night. They were outscored 11-3 by the two New York teams. Clayton Keller, Phil Kessel, Shane Gostisbehere. Look, there's a lot of character shown by these three guys. They played every single game this year in a COVID season. Keller has 15 goals, 16 assists, 31 points. I've said that I'm not sure if Keller cares about being on a winning team. I know he just wants ice time, which isn't the worst thing in the world. Phil Kessel, 5 goals, 22 assists, 27 points. And then Ghost resurrecting his career here in the desert, 7 goals, 18 assists, and 25 points. They're dealing with a COVID outbreak. Dyson Mayo and defenseman and left winger Ryan Zingle and Antoine Roussel, 2 left wingers, are on that COVID list. Penguins have won 5 straight. They're playing very good hockey. I can understand why Dennis Garcia feels good about this 25-1 Stanley Cup ticket in his pocket. They just seem to turn it on when they need to. They're enjoying playing hockey with each other. They broke the record, by the way, Malkin, Letang, and Crosby, for seasons playing together for 3 players. No 3 players have played 16 years together. So that's a record that they broke. I was shocked. I'd figured that somebody would in Montreal, or even the, Gordie Howe days with Lindsay and Howe, but that never had happened. Malkin, 7 points, in 7 games played since returning. Before being held scoreless against the Jets, Crosby had 7 points in 4 games. Gensel leads the team with 21 goals, 19 assists, 40 points, 35 games. But the big issue for me, and Slatsy says Vejmelka confirmed. Good. That helps. That he can stand on his head. And playing in Pittsburgh is very exciting, going up against these stars. But Chris Letang, I'm not a huge Letang fan, but he's been so good this year. 35 points in 37 games played, leads the team with plus 17. They have injuries to their depth players. They have 3 left wingers on their depth chart are hurt. Drew O'Connor, Jason Zucker, and Zach Aston Reese. They just lost Teddy Bluger. He's undergone surgery to repair a fractured jaw. He's a centerman. So they've lost a bunch of depth pieces. I'm off here. I don't really want to be involved in Coyotes, Penguins.
Very quickly, Mark Schillenberg says both teams to score first period, Arizona-Pittsburgh. It's been cashing like crazy in these Pittsburgh games. He got it an hour ago at plus 184, but you don't necessarily like that, Jim, because you're expecting a lower scoring game, and the total has gotten bet down a little bit. It was 6 juice to the over when I looked at it last night. Now it's closer to even on both sides. What's your take on that first period scoring in this one? You cannot be confident really with a low scoring game with the Coyotes roster. Mm-hmm. Even in games when they don't allow many goals, it's because Vejmelka makes 45 saves. Right.
So if Pittsburgh was to win this game 5-2, if the Coyotes were to come out strong in the first period and then Pittsburgh just turns it on, none of that would surprise me. I just don't see this as, there's a lot of opportunities on this card, and I don't see this as one of them that I really like.
All right. I'm leaning over and first period over as well, but I guess as of now, I'll pass. I might add on a whole bunch of official plays at the end of the show, but we're going to try to keep a brisk pace here. Jimmy's back. Let's move on. You ready?
Let's keep going, but Dennis, I do think that this is a dangerous Pittsburgh team that opened up cap room with the Malkin injury, and if they pick up another big piece, I could see how you're very comfortable with that 25-1 in your pocket. Take it away, Pete, my man.
Yeah, Ron Crawford says spreadsheet play of the day, Islanders. So in regulation. So we'll talk about that right now. Vegas and Carolina, interesting game here, right? Vegas, of course, on a back-to-back. Played at Washington last night, got a low-scoring close win. Now they're on a back-to-back going up against Carolina off of a loss, right? A rare defensive slip-up with that replacement goalie for Carolina. So, Vegas, obviously a strong team, but they are on a back-to-back. And Vegas has actually been struggling a little bit after the last two wins. Before the last two wins, they'd actually lost 5 of 6, and Carolina again off of a pretty embarrassing loss where they gave up a ton of goals. So I was thinking maybe a shot with Carolina, maybe Vegas team total under. Although Vegas, before their last 2 games, they scored 3 or more in 18 of their last 20 games. So it's very tough to take a team total under with Vegas. I was thinking that this is just a kind of a no-brainer play on Carolina, but it's a huge line and Vegas is good. So and they're healthier than they've been in a long time. So I'm not sure what to make of it. What do you think, Jim?
I smashed this line. I beat it by 40 cents. I bet it last night. I got the Hurricanes on the -1 line at -104. It was a -160 money line and a +150 puck line. That's now a -200 money line and a +125 puck line at Bet365. I wanted to attack this badly and did. Sure, Lehner stood on his head last night, and Vegas played the way they have to play. I think that Vegas is somewhat vulnerable right now, and we have to take advantage of that because that is going to go away, and I'll get into that in a second. But Laurent Brossoit, we've watched him play for years. He had every opportunity to be the backup goalie in Winnipeg. He couldn't take it and run with it. He's bounced around. Anybody could have had him in the offseason. 8-3-1, 2.78 goals against average, 900 save percentage. Freddie Anderson, going to be between the pipes. He's been so good this year. 21-6-0, 2.03 goals against average, 928 save percentage. Vegas power play at 21.1%. With the COVID issues right now that have knocked Mark Stone and Riley Smith out of the lineup, that power play is not going to do damage tonight, or shouldn't, against the Carolina penalty killing at 88.3%. Carolina's power play, though, 26.6%, should be able to wreak havoc on this Vegas Knights penalty killing. That's just at 78.5%. Vegas, as you said, on the second half of the back-to-back. Lehner was great, but Chandler Stevenson just is playing such great hockey. I'm very impressed with him. 12 goals, 26 assists, 38 points in 41 games. He's a +7. He leads all forwards in ice time. But as I said, Stone and Riley Smith on the COVID list. Zach Whitecloud dealing with an undisclosed injury. Now, they have reinforcements on the way. Both Max Pacioretty and Alec Martinez, who have been out long-term, traveled with the team and are expected to return at some point this week, but not tonight. And the Hurricanes are an arrested group. 3-game winning streak snapped in that 7-4 loss at New Jersey on Saturday night. Jordan Martinook still on the COVID list. Teuvo Teravainen didn't play on Saturday. Took part in the warm-ups. It's a lower body injury that he's dealing with. He was back yesterday in practice beside Aho and Seth Jarvis on that top line. He's been so good this year. 11 goals, 26, 31 points in 37 games. He leads the team with a +17. If you look at the Blackhawks decision-making, you have Teravainen on the Hurricanes. You have Ryan Hartman on the Minnesota Wild. What idiots. What absolute idiots. This Blackhawks team has no depth, and you just give these guys away. They gave Hartman away. Teravainen was a trade. Aho, 17 goals, 25 assists, 42 points, in 35 games played. He's an excellent player. Top 5 centerman in the league. Top 5 forward in the league. Tony DeAngelo, 7 goals, 25 assists, 32 points in 31 games, a +14. And the Rangers must hate the fact that they had to give him away for character issues, because now the Hurricanes have him and he's a very good defenseman. I smashed this line with the Hurricanes. Steve G says Vegas won't get rocked. They will keep it close or win it.
Yeah, but he's saying that because our man, Nut Flush Allen, before that said Vegas is going to get rocked in all caps tonight. That weighs heavily on me, Jimmy the Bag.
Well, it's a very tough spot for Vegas. Second half of back-to-back, expending all that energy in a 1-0 win against Washington, back-checking like crazy. And now they've got to go into Carolina against a team that's rested and angry off of a 7-4 loss. Yeah. They don't have two of their top 6 forwards. They don't have their captain and 2 of their top 6 forwards. They don't have Whitecloud. This is just a vulnerable team. Now, could they step up here and fight hard? They probably do. They're a team with tons of character, but
right. Great comments here. Dennis Garcia. It's a Carolina spot, but -200 is a little absurd. Vegas or pass from Dennis Garcia. And Andrew G says too much juice seems obvious. And you got the good line, right, Jimmy the Bag?
Smashed the line. Yeah, beat it by 40 cents. Put it out last night. I bet it last night, and put it
All right,
last
I'll
night.
go on there with you. I'm seeing minus 189 at Heritage right now. You might be able to shop around and get better, but I'll take it. I'm going to take Carolina just on the money line, minus 189, probably minus one, or in regulation are have more value. But we're trying to keep a very brisk pace here, which I'm very cognizant of. So you can make that official though. Carolina money line minus 189, and I was also thinking about the Carolina team total over as well, but I won't double up. I'll just 3.5. I'll just go on it with you. Minus 189, getting a horrible line here. This is not what you're supposed to do if you're a professional bettor. I am only a semi-professional, extremely semi-professional bettor right now, so I'll take it minus 189. You can throw that on my record, Jimmy the Bag.
I will, and you've dabbled with these huge favorite lines with some success. You were pretty strong with them until the Stars hurt you so badly last week.
And here we go. Billy Friedrich, it's currently minus 183 at Bookmaker, Pete. He is line shopping, which is something that professional sports bettors do and savvy semi-pro bettors do as well. So I'll take that one. Thank you so much, Billy Friedrich, minus 183. I'll take that one.
I love it. Let's keep rolling.
Let's move on. Next game on the slate. Here we go. Philly Islanders. Is that what you got? Right? Is that the next one? Yep. Philly Islanders spreadsheet play of the day in regulation from Ron Crawford. And of course, Philly on a back-to-back, but more eye-poppingly have now lost 12 in a row. And the Isles, of course, had that, awful start to the season where they had all their guys out. Awful loss, but they'd won 6 out of 7 before that. The question is, how awful is Philly really? The Isles are rested. Is this line too high? And who's in goal for Philly? If it's Martin Jones, I'll definitely be leaning Isles team total over, and maybe even if it's not, I'd be leaning Isles team total over anyway. So again, Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day, Isles in regulation. I'd be leaning that way, and maybe a little bit more so Isles team total over. What is your take on this one, Jimmy the Bag?
Jeez, you think I beat that Hurricanes line? I beat this line by 65 cents last night. I got the -1 at minus 124. I got that money line at minus 185. It's now at 250 at Bet365. I got the -1.5 at plus 130. It's now plus 105 at Bet365. That makes me feel very good. Slatsy says Flyers on back-to-back. Jones projected in net. Must win for Islanders, starting to make up games. I agree. Northander says Islanders should win this easy. I agree. Nothing comes easy in the NHL. We saw, I beat that Senators move by 50 cents, and that didn't work for me. But I don't think Martin Jones is a good goaltender. 6-7-2, 3.52 goals against average, 902 save percentage. You have a Philadelphia team that's just scuffling. Ilya Sorokin, 11-7-5, 2.26 goals against average, 928 save percentage. The Islanders power play just marginally better than the Flyers. The penalty killing at 82.6 compared to 77.6 for the Flyers. I love that our man Ron Crawford is on it. Let's give a shout out to Ron Crawford, and then I will finish this breakdown. Ron swept Friday's NBA. So we added nice 2 wins to him. He did have the Titans on Sunday, but he's been so strong on our show of late. So Flyers on the second half of the back-to-back after losing their 12th straight. Keith Yandel played his 964 straight game to tie Doug Jarvis. The Iron Man streak is my favorite streak in hockey. It's my favorite record in hockey. When I was younger, I had Gary Unger. I don't know if the old heads remember Gary Unger, but he held that streak until Jarvis passed him, and Gary Unger had it at 914, and I had all Gary's cards, and I looked up to him, and he was a great coach, and he was a great man, and it's so important, at that age to be around leaders and Iron Men and guys who inspire you to be better. And Gary Unger, wherever you are in the world, thank you for all the leadership you brought to my life. You're a great, great man, a great hockey player. I love this because you have Kessel at 940, which is shocking. That old sloppy tits Kessel has 940 straight games. And you have Patrick Marleau at 910. When I was younger, I was so angry that Larmer held out of his contract and he stopped at 884. And that was one of my favorite teams back in the day, the Dennis Savardi and Spinorama. You have Larmer on the wing. Larmer at 884 straight games. Cogliano stopped his at 830, but I have enormous respect of being able to lace up the equipment day in and day out. And for guys like Yandel and Kessel to be doing that now with COVID is even more impressive. So that was just for me, and I apologize. But they continue to play without 4 center icemen due to injuries. Kevin Hayes, Derek Brassard, Sean Couturier, Nate Thompson are all out. They've moved Giroux over to center, and he's been quite good there, but it's not where he wants to be. He'd prefer to be a winger. He doesn't like the defensive responsibilities, but he does win faceoffs. Then they lose right winger Wade Allison and left winger Joel Farabee to injuries this week. They haven't had Ryan Ellis all year. He's played 5 games. He missed the entire season with a lower body injury. And the Islanders have no pity for their division rival. They continue to get healthier. They're playing better hockey. They had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 3-1 loss at home versus Toronto on Saturday night. 2 of their 3 wins came in a home and home last week with the Flyers. I don't like going back to this well over and over again. Kyle Palmieri and Ryan Pullock are out on the injured list, but I moved on the Islanders and I beat this line by 65 cents, so I feel pretty good about it.
Quick question here. Diehard MMA Podcast. Shout out to Diehard MMA Podcast says, gotta be Islanders here, but the Flyers have been playing more defense lately. I'm a bit scared to take the -1.5 on the Islanders. Jimmy the Bag. Have the Flyers been playing more defense lately?
Their games have been lower scoring. They don't have any depth at center. I think they're just playing a simpler brand of hockey.
Right.
I think they've lost all of the fun of coming to the rink. That's the reason why I ended up moving on this last night. I just thought, God, they've lost 12 straight. Yandel ties Jarvis's record, and it's a sad story. Like, he's just like, if you watch the interview, it's just sad. There's all this sadness in that dressing room, and you just put your foot on the throat of an opponent and make money off of them.
Yes. All right, Jimmy the Bag. Well, I'm about to beat this line move by 0 cents right now as we speak, live on air here. I will take Islanders puck line -1, -156, and I'll double up on it. I'll take Philly team total under 2.5 -165. I'm seeing that right now at Heritage. Those are horrifically awful lines relative to the opener, and I suspect that both of them will go back the other way, at least a little bit by close, but what the hell, I'll take them. I trust all your analysis. That was my thought on the game as well. I didn't bet any of these on the overnight lines, although I have lots of opinions, but I'll take those officially. Isles, puck line -1, -156. That's at Pinnacle, and Philly team total under 2.5 -165. That's what I'm seeing right now at Heritage.
Team total under 2.5 at what?
-165, beating both of those moves by 0 cents.
There's Sean
live at Pub Sports Radio.
Sean Sports Bet Dev in the house says Flyers didn't score last night. Dallas scored on themselves. Sean's doing behind the scenes work for us at Pub Sports Radio and just adding a ton, adding so much to our team and our family here. So just want to give a big shout out to Sean and thank you for joining us and all of Sean came to us with, look, I'm working on this. Like, I love when guys show that, no one asks them to do anything. He went out and did a bunch of work and then said, hey, what do you guys think? And we're like, holy shit. So shout out to Sean.
Self-starters. That's what that's called, Jimmy the Bag. In the business world, we love it.
So Jimmy Gomez says unders galore. I love it. I think that's such a good point too, because I said that Leafs game should be blind bet to the over. And I didn't bet that over in Leafs Islanders. And it was 2-1 after the first period. And I was kicking myself. And then it went really low scoring. I hate taking -125 totals. And I've done that on the over in the Devil Stars game. But I think that under 5.5 is very live here and might be an absolutely great bet.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Paco Healy, who liked my 0 cents joke. Everyone has to have a purpose to their life. And right now, the purpose to my life is making Jimmy the Bag and Paco Healy laugh. Shout out to Paco Healy. All right, you ready to move on, Jim?
I am ready to move on. And just very quickly, though, Jedi for Life. Oh, there. Perfect. So we're going to hook up. So anyone who wants to get on the Discord, it's great. It's a lot of fun being on it. We're trying to hook up Jedi for Life on it right now. North End says Islanders under same game parlay is a go off mine when Islanders are juiced, or is a go-to. Yeah, I would like to get in on this under. I think this under makes a ton of sense, but maybe your team total under is better.
It's just Jones is like, excuse me if I'm saying something incorrect here, but vaguely in the Aaron Dell, Matt Murray area of quality of goaltending, right? No, wrong, no.
Yeah, I mean, he's been by the tiniest taint hair a little bit better, but I agree. Yeah.
Right. Okay, let's move on. You want to, Jim?
Yes, let's roll.
All right. Florida, Winnipeg. Is that the next one on the slate?
That's
Yeah,
next up.
Florida, Winnipeg. Now, this one, my first thought was, Florida, awful loss. They've been kicking ass before that. Winnipeg lost 4 in a row back home off a long trip, kind of mediocre in general. So I was thinking this is a good spot for Florida, maybe. But then I thought maybe it's a little trappy, a big favorite line here on the road. And Florida, of course, awesome at home, but not so great on the road. And I think that might be a little bit fundamental. I was thinking actually if Bobrovsky is in goal for Florida, I was thinking under if I could get 6.5. That's my take here. I don't know if I want to take Florida on the road as this big of a favorite. I'm thinking under, Jim, at 6.5.
I think it's a very interesting, shrewd look that I might want to jump on as well.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it's gone from 6 to 6.5 as all Panthers games do. But Bobrovsky, 24 and 3, 2.44 goals against average, 923 save percentage, 1 shutout. Hellebuck, 14, 12 and 6, 2.80 goals against average, 913 save percentage. This is tough. The Panthers have won 7 of 18 games on the road this year.
Right.
And I would like to hedge my division bet. I'm not going to, because the Leafs are capable of winning 10 straight. I don't think they will, but I just don't. Last thing I want is the Leafs to go on a massive run in the second half of the year, and I've hedged this, so I'm not going to do it. Florida power play at 21.5%, penalty killing at 80.9%. Winnipeg power play at 20.8%, penalty killing at 73.2%. Panthers had their 2-game winning streak snapped in a 5-3 loss at Seattle on Sunday night. Huberdeau continues to put up MVP-type numbers, 16 goals, 42 assists, 58 games, 42 games played, plus 18. But Aaron Ekblad is their most important player. Nominated for a Norris Trophy this year for sure. 10 goals, 27 assists, 37 points, plus 26, playing 25 minutes, 17 seconds a game. Now, Oli Uolevi, whom I will despise for the rest of his life. And it's not your fault, Oli. It's just that Benning picked you over Matthew Tkachuk and Charlie McAvoy. So I'll hate you forever. There's nothing you can do about it. And then Gustav Forsling is also on the COVID list. So no Oli Uolevi, no Gustav Forsling. Patrick Hornfix has an upper body injury. Jets coming off their 4 straight losses in an angry group, 3-2 at Pittsburgh on Sunday. They were up 2-0 heading into the third period. They recently got Blake Wheeler and Paul Stastny back from injury. They're still missing Nikolai Ehlers and defenseman Logan Stanley and Dylan DeMello. If I had a free bet, and the more I talk about it, I would like to take Winnipeg as a big dog here. This is where they're such a good team at home with a vividness bias, 10-6-1 this year. Do I want them without Nikolai Ehlers? It'll affect their power play. Do I want to fade the Panthers after they lost? No. This is tough.
And here's a comment from Vito Garcia, Texas. If you're feeling the under, look at some goalie save props. These goalies are going to get peppered tonight. Great point.
Yeah, it's a great look.
Yeah, we don't really have time to look into goalie save props, I guess, but I'll make it official. Under 6.5 minus 108 current line at Pinnacle. There might be a better line somewhere else. Who knows where it'll close, but I'll take it. Under 6.5 minus 108. I'm assuming Bobrovsky will be in goal. I know they've been switching with Knight, but I don't know why they would, play Knight here, not on a back-to-back. And Bobrovsky, I think, after, giving up a lot of goals last game and losing, wants to come back and have a good game. Why wouldn't they play him again? I'm going to take under 6.5 minus 108 official, Jim.
I think this is a fascinating look.
Bad, right?
I'm very interested in it. Astute Chaos leaning to the under, North Ender leaning to the under. Let's just take a peek very quickly. I know that we don't do this much for NHL. I don't feel like we need to do this, but I'd love to know where the money lies in this spot. So I'm going to head over to Sports Insights.
Okay, and while you're doing that, I'll read some comments. Diehard MMA Podcast. Shout out to Diehard MMA Podcast. Says, I don't think I have the balls for a Panthers under. I understand that. Yes. A lot of smart, ultimately in retrospect, smart plays and bets take a lot of balls at the time. And I also some stupid, in retrospect, bets at life decisions take a lot of balls at the time, which I did last show. But I'm going to do it here, under 6.5 minus 108. I mean, obviously we know what Florida does, but they have lots of games that don't necessarily hit 7. So and I think this is a good spot for it.
Matty Ice says, bet MGM has Jets to win and under 6.5 at plus 310. What are your thoughts about that value? Personally, you're taking 2 risks. I would prefer. I just think it's It's risky. You have an angry Panthers team. I would rather take one of those two. Which one you're most confident? If you do want to take both of them, don't bet a lot. You're getting a nice big number on it. It makes me nervous. The Jets make me nervous, but it's an angry team coming back home. Now, no one's going to be in the audience. There's going to be no fans there. So it's not like the regular home ice advantage that you would. So I couldn't move on the Jets because of that. If they were coming back to a sold out Canada Life Center, I'd be like, ooh, they're live. And maybe they are live because the Panthers aren't good on the road. We saw that again last night, but it makes me nervous. But I like the big plus line beside it. And friends don't talk friends off of big dog lines.
Yeah. That's right. Shout out to Astute Chaos. No need to be puss safe. You're damn skippy, Astute Chaos. All right, I made that one official. You want to move on, Jim?
Yes, and I think that I'm going to end up tailing you. I think this is a fascinating idea. You have two excellent goaltenders, a 6.5 line, a Panthers team that was up 3-1 before. I believe it was 3-1 before allowing 4 goals to Seattle. Have to tighten up their ship, have to play a tight road game. You imagine that will be hammered into them. And then the Jets know the dangers of playing Florida and Florida's offense. I think this is a very interesting look you have here.
Okay, you want to move on?
Yes, I do. But Trusty says I wouldn't overthink this one. I think the over is a great choice because Panthers score, Jets give up goals and get goals too. I see this being 5-3.
Yeah, I mean,
if the Jets don't tighten up their ship, they're going to lose. And they don't have Ehlers, who's a key player on their power play and a key goal scorer for them. So I can understand, Trusty, looking at these two teams thinking goals, but I can also understand the angle that Peter has, and I very close to tailing Peter's angle. Okay, let's roll on.
All right, let's move on. Edmonton, Vancouver. That's next on the docket, right? Okay. Edmonton, off a win, but had lost 7 in a row before that. And lost 13 out of 15 before their last win. The question is, what happened with them? I'm sure Jimmy the Bag can help us out here. And Vancouver, off of 2 straight losses, kind of been losing recently, but before that they had a run of winning. Their offense is kind of sluggish right now, and then I believe that Demko is back for Vancouver. Is that not correct? That's what I read, but I'm not seeing him expected. And this is another one where I was thinking maybe a shot with the under, maybe a shot with the Vancouver team total under. It's an interesting game. I'm sure you can shed a lot of light on this, Jimmy the Bag. My initial thoughts were maybe under and maybe a little bit more so Vancouver team total under. What do you think?
I want the Oilers. And if you looked at that Canucks lineup that they put up against the Blues, they played their hearts out. My goodness, they completely outshot a much more talented Blues team. And they lost 3-1, DiPietro in goal. This is supposed to be Demko back. This is supposed to be JT Miller back. The initial market move was towards the Canucks, and now it's moved completely in the opposite direction.
So that tells me that maybe Demko's is not going to be in. Right.
I told myself that I would be very comfortable taking a worse line, but that I had to know that these guys aren't going to come back into the lineup. And until I know that, I want the Oilers, but this Canucks team showed a ton of heart. Oilers snapped their ugly 7-game losing streak with a 5-3 win at home over Calgary on Saturday night. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins expected to return. He's been out since December 31st with a lower body injury. And we've seen what this Oilers team looks like without scoring depth. They get killed. They lose 7 straight here. They get knocked out of the playoffs by the Chicago Blackhawks. Zach Hyman is in COVID-19 protocol, won't be available for Tuesday's match. And Hyman and Nuge are extremely important to this team. Tyson Barrie won't be ready to play Tuesday against Vancouver. Those of you guys who run me for a long time know what I think of Tyson Barrie because they know what I think of Joe Sakic. And I love Sakic and believe in the man very much. And he wanted Tyson Barrie out of the dressing room because he had the best young defenseman in the league. He didn't want Tyson Barrie messing with these kids. So I've never had faith in Tyson Barrie. The Leafs got him for a terrible, terrible trade. Terrible with Kadri. And then he moves over to the Oilers for nothing. And he has a good year last year. He's good on the power play. I get it, but he's not going to be in the lineup. He's day-to-day. He didn't practice yesterday. He didn't play on Saturday. The Canucks coming off their second straight loss, 3-1 at home versus the Blues on Sunday. And then we have this huge COVID outbreak. So until we know you're right. The market's telling us that these guys aren't going to be in, but I need to know. The last thing I want to do is bet on the Oilers. And after the Canucks have shown so much heart, and then they have Thatcher Demko and JT Miller and Bo Horvat strolling. I mean, Connor Garland's been on COVID list since Jan 15th. They expected Miller to only miss 2 games and Demko to only miss 2 games, so that they would be in now. So I need to know what's going on with these guys.
Okay, I guess it'll be a pass for me. I was thinking about maybe an under, but this DiPietro guy, he's pretty awful, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
nice guy.
Suppose I don't know if he's a nice guy, but he's only 22. But he's supposed to have a bright future, but he hasn't shown that.
All right, well, let's move on. We could talk about each game for an hour, obviously, with Jim's wealth of knowledge. What's the next one? Is it Seattle
last game on the card? Yep.
Yeah, Seattle. Okay, we got it. This one I am interested in, right? Seattle, suddenly Grubauer playing well, right? When I handicapped this team, Seattle, at the beginning of the year, I expected them to be pretty good defensively, maybe a little undervalued on their money lines, and maybe lean towards unders. That obviously was not the case to start the year, but now maybe it is a little bit, and Grubauer playing a little bit well. I think I might be like an under here, maybe first period under, although Saros, goes over on the road. But I was thinking about maybe, first period under, full game under, Nashville team total under, and maybe Seattle on the money line as a big dog. Now that Grubauer is playing well, maybe they're playing pretty well defensively. Jimmy the Bag, what do you think?
Well, a couple of these market moves I destroyed, and here's one that has gone way against me. This is exactly the situation I want the Kraken in as we move forward throughout the year as a big home dog, but this market move has gone way against me. I got it at plus 140. It's up to plus 155. It's embarrassing. Okay. I like the way Grubauer is playing. He's got to step up. He needs to step up. Saros is a good goaltender, 22-11-2, 2.38 goals against average, 925 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Nashville power play has been so good this year on the back of Roman Josi, who's been spectacular. 13 goals, 29 assists, 42 points in 41 games played, a plus 8. Predators coming off their second straight win, 4-1 at home versus Red Wings on Saturday night. They've been much better than I expected them to be. Matt Duchene, 19 goals, 19 assists, 38 points in 39 games. Shocking to me. I did not expect him to do that. He's an even hockey player. I did not expect that this year. Michael Granlund is a good player. Ryan Johansson has been such a massive disappointment to all of the Vancouver hockey heads, and he's been playing very well too. Eli Tolvanen has entered COVID protocol. So is it possible that somebody else falls into that? Dante Fabro still on the IL, but they got Ekholm back, and he's just a monster. But the Kraken coming off their third win in 4 games, 5-3 at home over Florida on Sunday night. They are without Carson Soucy and Jamie Oleksiak, who are both hurt, and Jaden Schwartz continues to be a long-term. I was wrong about the Predators this year. Birdie was bang on. And
North Ender says Grubauer is playing well, question mark. Is that not the case? I don't think that giving up 3 against Florida is too embarrassing. I mean, better than he was before, right?
Better is probably the right term.
Yeah. Thank you for correcting me, North Ender. Words matter, absolutely. Not well, but definitely better.
Yes. So I moved on the Kraken at plus 140. Now sitting at plus 155 makes me nervous. That's moved so far against me. But this is exactly where I want the Kraken. And I don't believe in this Predator squad. They have been good on the road this year, 13-7-3. But Steve G says take the over.
Wow. Billy Friedrich says Preds team total is 8-2 to the over last 10. And 9-1 to the over last 10 on the road. Bread's team total over 3.5, 123. All right. A lot of people saying no when I mentioned Bread's team total under, including Henry Dice. No, Pete. Henry Dice took the over last night. Okay, maybe I read this game wrong. Jim, what do you think? Is this an over game? I thought it'd be an under game.
I still have a tough time reading the Predators, and maybe I'm walking into a trap here. I've not succeeded with the Predators, although when they went on that losing streak, we made a lot of money last week on them. So I feel uncomfortable talking totals with this team. They have a really good power play. They're playing good hockey. They're a rested group. But I've said this for a month now, and I haven't been following through with it. I haven't been getting these kinds of opportunities. Too many pick'ems. And I should have done it against the Panthers. I'm going to do it here against the Predators. And as we move throughout the season, I'm going to back the Kraken at home as dogs and big dogs. I'm going to be doing it consistently, and I expect to have a positive ROI with it.
Holy shit. Sam Colmer thought this was a Pred smash spot when I first looked. Brian Pocone, I like the over also. Kraken coming to play. Damn.
The Kraken are 13, 24, and 4. They've had a bad season. They had to deal with COVID right off the top. They had that terrible road trip off the top of the year. But this is as good as they felt all year. And I trust that this team is moving in the right direction. I trust the brain trust to put this team together. I like the coaching. And I think that now there was mistakes. Francis really believes in Corsi numbers, clearly, because this team there was a bunch of Corsi darlings on this team that he put together. But Wenberg's playing better, and McCann is another Corsi darling. I'm on the Kraken as a home dog.
Nutflush Allen, Kraken first period look. Once again, Nutflush Allen, maybe with a good look there. All right, I guess I'll pass Jimmy the Bag. I'm very proud of the fact that we that under my time leadership, we got through the entire card before 12 o'clock noon Eastern time. What do you think, Jimmy the Bag? Not bad, huh?
Excellent work, Pistol, Loshak, and you are still in the black in NHL on the season, 35 and 29, 54.7%, plus 1.02 units, ROI plus 1.59%, average line minus 111. I was in a very bad way in NHL, and we've got back 7.41 units over our last 15 games, hit some big first period plus lines. Let's review action here. Buffalo, Ottawa, no moves for either of us. Pistol Pete starts his day with the New Jersey Devils, team total over 2.5. at minus 117. I made 2 moves on this game. I took the Devils plus 110 and Dallas, New Jersey over 5.5 at minus 125. It's not going to be Holtby. It's going to be Schmidt in goal for Dallas. It's going to be Gillies in goal for the Devils. I mean, a lot of unknowns in this hockey game. Coyotes, Pittsburgh Penguins, we are both off. Pete moved on the Hurricanes at minus 183 on the money line. This was the first market move that I have destroyed. I got the minus 160 money line, plus 150 puck line for minus 104. So now this market, Hurricanes are now minus 220 at Bet365. So that's a 60-cent move that I beat. And I'm going to do that every night. I'll tweet out my NHL action at night, beat these market moves. Then the Flyers, Islanders. The Islanders are now minus 250. And I got them as part of my puck line minus 185. So beat that by 65 cents. Beautiful. And Pete, you moved on the Islanders minus 1 at minus 156. And the Philly team total under 2.5 minus 165. And I think that the under is in play here. And I think I'm going to add that. I just hate, maybe I won't. I hate these minus 125 totals so much. My ROI is not good with them. You moved on the under 6.5 in Florida, Winnipeg. I think it's a great look. I think it's a really interesting look that I'm likely to tail. Then I want the Oilers tonight. And the market's certainly telling us that these guys aren't going to be in the lineup, but I have no problem waiting until 5 o'clock tonight or 6 o'clock tonight to know for certain that Demko and JT Miller aren't going to stroll through that dressing room and look at everybody going, we're going to win tonight. And then Predator Seattle, I'm on the Kraken. And as much as I bragged about the market moves that I beat, this one's gone way against me. I got plus 140. It's not plus 155.
I wonder why. We don't have time to talk about it, but I am curious about that. We'll talk about it later or never, but let's move on. But yeah, that is weird. I wonder why.
People believe in Nashville. There's Rez Mob, Dutch Boy, fresh in the house. There you have it. Perfect timing, Pistol Pete Loshak, 12 p.m. And it is now time to bring in. By the way, Jose has sent you the list of games via Twitter. So he sent you that via Twitter. And it is our man, Maxwell Smart, about to join the show, and he's been very good this year. Pete, I know you'll respect this on the show because our guy Maxwell Smart has given out on the show 148 picks on our show, and he's hitting 52% with the average line of minus 101. So he's kept the VIG enormously low, and he's got plus line first half ROI plus 2.29%, plus 3.39 units over 148 picks. Impressive, right?
Very nice, very impressive. Just are we doing NBA in the show or not?
Of course, yes.
Oh, okay,
we're
okay.
doing NBA on the show. Trot Wam will be joining us. But it is now time for college basketball. Please welcome the Cupcake King in the house, Maxwell Smart. Maxie, how are you, my man?
Good morning, gentlemen. It's a wonderful time to be alive. And you know what's more wonderful about it, Jim? Obviously, with your fabulous colors that you're wearing, with your rainbow Denver Nugget hat. But the biggest thing is Pete is not wearing his Elton John sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it.
No, I'm
love
taking
seeing
myself very
Pete's eyes.
seriously.
I know he's not high as I am. I'm pretty high right now, and I'm ready to get it higher with this fucking card.
Ooh, what a boost of excitement Maxwell Smart brings us day in and day out. All right, let's get right to work. Pistol Pete, while we do this, I know that we were going to lean heavy on Max here, so why don't you jump in anytime? I won't put you on the spot.
Yeah.
So just when you feel like you got something, just jump in and take the role. Let's start with two spots, and a lot of people have asked about this. Elliot V asked about this, and we have also come to the taint play of the day right off the hop. This is UCLA, Arizona. This is the late game on the board, the degenerate special. UCLA opens as 2-point dogs at Pinnacle, now 3.5-point dogs. So let me move the spreads and totals here. The total in this game from a Pinnacle opener is going to pop up on my sheet right now while it is taking a second. It's opened up at 152.5, and it's now dropped to 150 or 150.5. We open up the show with taint. Wow, Max, can't wait to hear your breakdown here. Matty Ice says UCLA is going to bitch slap Arizona at home tonight. These UCL players will have another gear. Take it away, Maxie. What do you think?
Listen, I think UCLA is getting completely disrespected when it comes to this line. When you look at the spread, I think that the only way to play it from a side perspective at this number now, not being a 2, is to take UCLA at that 3.5. We've seen line moves work against and work for teams, but we've seen it work for teams at home in this role a lot more often. However, when I look at this game, this is a game that I am very attracted to, something that I've been attracted to with Arizona. And it's not easy for me to say that I am interested and I look forward to a Pac-12 team playing basketball, me being able to wager on it. The bottom line is, with this Arizona team, they have just a goddamn stable of running, dominating big men. And Umar Ballo, coming over from Gonzaga with Coach Lloyd, has been fantastic, at least the last 2 games, averaging over 17 points. I don't see how this Arizona team that is led by a fellow Canadian of ours, Jim, Benedict Mathurin, don't come out and hit that team total. I think that this is a high-scoring game that ends up in the 160s. When I see a team total where I'm used to getting Arizona at above 80 and I can get them at 76.5, that's the team total that I like. And as far as the taint, the number says UCLA. I just think we're going to get a high-scoring game. And if that's the case, 76.5 points is too low for Arizona's team total. And that would also make UCLA's team total also a valued play.
Very, very interesting. And Max will let me know when to line shop, so I won't ask. Let's keep rolling. There you have, supporting the number that you're getting for UCLA. Let's keep rolling, Maxie. The next spot is another look from Elliot V, wanting to know your thoughts here in, let me move over here, in Duke Clemson. Battle of the big boys. 9th ranked Duke opening up as 12.5 point favorites. That's moved to 11.5. And we've seen no movement on this total. Maybe you have, because I'm using Pinnacle openers, but 145.5 still available. A 3-cent move to the under. Take it away here, Max. Clemson, Duke.
Yeah, for me, I saw this line open up at 12.5 and 146.5, and I did see the line come down. So I think that with Duke, this is definitely one of the best defensive teams that they've had in a while. And regardless or not, if Trevor Keels plays tonight, the coaching advantage is going to be on the Duke side. I do think that home court at Cameron Indoor is a huge freaking plus for this Duke team. And when you look at the numbers, the defense is just there. And that's where I think Clemson's going to have problems. Clemson is definitely not in their best form, and now going into the juggernaut of the conference, I don't think it's going to be good for them. I think that we see another Syracuse dominant like performance with Duke, and for me, that's the way that I would want to attack it. I think that when you look at this Duke team, they got to put Clemson down early in the first half. If this game is close or Duke is behind at halftime, then that's going to be real problematic. However, I don't think it's going to be the case. I think that Duke goes wire to wire, and I'll even go first half and full game officially on the show on it.
Oh, wow. Official spots here on first half full game on Duke. I'm going to do some line shopping. Pete, does that interest you?
Yeah, I mean, when I looked at this, I was leaning Duke and the under, both. Yes.
Duke
didn't bet them though. And I also didn't pull the trigger on Clemson team total under either, which would obviously be strongly implied by that. But so I didn't bet it, but I was definitely thinking that this is another double-digit win at home for Duke, and more likely than not a lower scoring game.
Well, we have Max's first two spots on the board. Pop this right under the taint play of the day. We have a Duke very low VIG over at Pinnacle minus 11.5. Now I will line shop to see if I can beat it while we go, but at Pinnacle minus 11.5 at just minus 103. So that's nice. And then a first half spot, we have Duke minus 6.5 at minus 108. And Max is on the board. Max,
I definitely agree with that though on Duke.
I love it.
I think a 53% or higher percentage play.
I love it. Let's keep rolling. And yeah, guys, we don't. People can hate all they want on the show. That's the low bag way. Hate. We have rules. No spam, no racism, no lying. Those are the. But don't pay any attention. Who cares? Let these guys hate all they want. They run themselves out. We know Ski Profit's an absolute monster and spectacular. We know all this stuff. We know Max is an absolute monster, spectacular. Who cares what these guys say? It doesn't matter at all. Don't give them a breath. All right, let's move on here. The next spot.
I care a little bit. If you would say something nice about me in the comment section, Gar's Balls, I would really appreciate that. If you don't mind, just a little bit. Thank you.
Yeah, garlic balls could swallow my balls.
I want the guy to like me. What do you want? I want Gar's Balls to like, or at least think I'm okay.
He's actually a child molester, so you do not want people like that giving you compliments.
Let's keep rolling. Next up, we have great interest, heavy interest in the Nevada-Colorado State spot. We have Cab talking about it in the chat, and let's break it down. Colorado State opening up at minus 6.5. Pinnacle hanging them at an 8. Other books at 8.5 max. This total's gone from 153.5 to either 153 or 152.5. Take it away. What do you think here, Nevada, Colorado State?
Yeah, this is a tough spot. I think that when I look at this Colorado State team, they have all the talent on paper to do so, but they're just not putting the results down. I think that when you go up against San Jose State, yeah, you're going to rout that kind of team. But with Nevada having such a dynamic backcourt in Cambridge and Sherfield, it is a tough task. I think that when I look at this game, the value screams to me Colorado State on the first half, just to get a gauge for how Colorado State is shooting the basketball, because that's been their biggest thing. They've been an under basketball team. They have not been playing overs. There's been an emphasis on defense, but really it's just been a lot of missed scoring opportunities. I think that at this spot, it's Colorado State first half, just because we've seen a 2-point line move. We won't get the best of the number full game. And if first half doesn't cash, which is hard to say when you have David Roddy and Isaiah Stevens leading you at home, there's going to be value to bet on them full game at halftime.
Question here, Max, quickly, and big shout out to Billy Friedrich, line shopping for you. He found you a -11 for Duke at Bookmaker, -108. So we cut that point there. But up to you. Do you want the 6.5 at -108, or would you pay 5 cents to get that first half at -6, -113?
Yeah, I'll pay the 5 cents to get the -6.
Great job, Billy. We're multitasking
Appreciate
here, so
you,
thank
Billy.
you so much for your help here. Let's continue rolling in college basketball. And a big shout out to Cab and Pete. Jump in if there's any additions. Do you have one here with the Colorado spot?
No.
Okay, we'll keep rolling them. Next up, sorry, let me just put this here. The next spot we have is Syracuse Pitt. This is another spot from Cab. He was also talking about Duke Clemson. That was a great breakdown from both you guys. But let's move over to Syracuse Pitt. Syracuse opening up at -4.5. Pinnacle has moved that to 4. And there's total opening up. Did it really, Max, open up at 147.5? That's what it says, all the way down to 138.5. That's nuts. A 9-point move to the under. Take it away. Talk to us about Hughes Pitt.
Yeah, listen, I think that when we look at this line, it is definitely a crazy spot with Syracuse. They have to bring consistent shooting, and that's just been an issue for them. Coming off such a bad game against Duke is actually going to play in their favor, in my opinion. When you go up against that defense, it's sort of like when you go up against Virginia. Virginia shuts you down, and then you play another opponent that you can really get better looks at. I think we're going to have that kind of situation here with with Syracuse. While I do say Pittsburgh has improved now that Atheel Horton's in the lineup, it does give John Hugley a little more room to operate on the low block. I think a guy like Mo Gee is going to be critical on and off the score sheet. What we see from this kid over and over again is a high motor, a two-way player, help defender blocker, can go straight one-on-one against a defender and take him. And with his length and his freaking reach, he's a guy that in this matchup versus Syracuse in their zone, he's got to make an impact. However, when you look at the numbers, when I look at my betting model, the one thing that obviously sticks out, and that's obviously going to be a common theme today, is Syracuse first half can dominate Pittsburgh. If they can hit 40% from 3 in the first half, they're going to go in with an 8-point lead. And I think that this number is a little too low when it comes to the first half line with Syracuse. And I'm going to ride Syracuse on the road first half, Jim, officially.
Syracuse first half. I will line shop here in a second. While I'm doing that, let's move on to the next spot on the board. Again, Maxwell Smart joining us, and in the black, comfortably with 148 bets on this show. We have Jay Peasy, our guy Jay Peasy next, UCSB, CSU, Northbridge, wanting to know about this spot. UC Santa Barbara opening up at -6. I think, let me just go right to Pinnacle. This doesn't make sense that this line is saying what it's saying.
Jim, it opened up at 6 and the total opened up at 131.5.
Wow. Okay, I think that what I'm seeing from Pinnacle is wrong here, because why don't you? It says the total gone up a point at this point.
Yeah, it has.
Okay. This is wrong then here, what I'm looking at. So let's just move over to the other books. The other books have it between 7.5 and 8, and the total at 132.5. UC Santa Barbara, Cal State, Northridge. I know you know these teams inside and out. Take it away. What's your spot here?
Yeah, listen, this is a spot where Cal State Northridge definitely has to show up, because you're going to be going up against a team in Santa Barbara that just has not been able to get together. And I've said this over and over again about Santa Barbara this year. While Sal and Norris are a fantastic front court, you need scoring from your guards. And Josh Pierre-Louis, guys like freaking Johnny Sani just have not been able to do it. Last time out, even in a losing effort, you got a freaking an outlier performance from Cole Anderson, who gave you 21 points. Take away that 21, and that game looks very bad to me. In my opinion, this UC Santa Barbara team is not top of the conference quality, and I would have to be looking towards Northridge at least early on at home. I think that that's where they've been able to show some of their value with aside from their game against Riverside. But this Northridge team is not pretty. their best offense is being able to get over 30 points in the first half. That doesn't bode well for them, even against Santa Barbara. I think that this is a spot where I want to freaking take Northridge first half and then be able to lie bet if Santa Barbara is going to freaking wake up offensively. But by the numbers, as long as Northridge isn't going to be taking a bunch of threes, they shoot a lot of their shots close to the bucket. I think that this is a dirty dog spot that you plug your nose on.
Question about the Syracuse first half. Pinnacle hanging -1.5 at -116. And then Circa hanging a -2 at -110.
Yeah, take the -2 and -110. Big man.
I think that there's probably a better line, so I'll continue to a line shop, but let's lock that in. That is a Syracuse first half. Syracuse first half -2. I'm expect to be able to find you a better line than that. Even at Pinnacle, I bet you if I just bookmaker has it -108. Oh, thank you, Billy. And let's see what. And -2 at -106 at Pinnacle. There. Sorry, I should have done that initially. Thank you, Sammy. Thank you. That was my bad. Okay. All right. We are rocking and rolling. We still have 13 more minutes of Maxwell Smart. Get your picks or your games in that you want broken down by the Cupcake King. Next up, Texas TCU. Texas TCU. Let me move over to see what Pinnacle is hanging for this spot. We have apologies here. Let me see. We have Texas at -2.5, but just -102 juice. The juice is on that +2.5 for TCU, and the total at 122. Let's see. TCU, Max, take it away.
Yeah, listen, in this spot with this number being where it is, you know where I'm going, Jim. I'm going to the first half over. I'm not going to take and let these first half over numbers that are under 60 slide by and watch them go over. I'm not doing it. All right. I made the mistake last night of going first half under on Virginia. Guess what? 58 points. Beat me by a point. I see that this TCU team, they're confident, they're healthy. Now you have Mike Miles very much establishing himself, and his confidence in a game like this has to be high. When you look at the numbers, yeah, definitely Texas has had some problems lately, so they don't look as ironclad and bulletproof as we anticipated. However, in a game like this on the road, this is a spot that they can lose outright. The only way I'm looking at it if I bet this game is TCU, and the only way I'm looking at betting the total is the spot that I want to make official on the show is the first half over. So I'll take that all day.
First half over. You have two options here, and I'll keep shopping, but there's a 57 at -110 at Circa, and a Pinnacle of 56.5 at -114.
I'll actually take the juice total in this one.
And if we wanted to go 57, it'd be -104.
Damn.
No, what do you think?
I'll still take the 50. I'll still take the 56.5.
The juiced 56.5. Pete, Paulie Walnuts, wondering if you're still doing your second half college basketball picks like last year. That was so special.
Not publicly, and personally, I'm not doing them religiously every day, but I am still doing them a little bit. And I would love to. It's just weeks go by and months go by, and I'm like, maybe I'll start doing some shows somewhere. But it's just the answer is yes, I am still doing them in my private life. Yes.
Well, if you ever wanted to jump on Pub and do that, we would be all over.
Got to work it out. All these hours keep whipping by. All the days and weeks keep whipping by.
Texas TCU first half over 56.5 at -114 for Max. All right, Max has 4 official picks locked in. Next up, we go to Jansen Bonzen, a friend of ours, Max, from here in the 6. Jansen Bonzen wants to know of your thoughts on Maryland Rutgers. Rutgers open up at -2.5. Now Pinnacle's hanging in a 3.5. We do see a couple 4s out there. This total sitting at 132.5. Some off. No, just 132.5. Pete, you're making sounds.
I know what that sound is. I took Rutgers on this one. I took them. Well, go ahead. I want to hear what Max has to say, but that is one bet that I did make.
Take it away, Max, my man.
Yeah, listen, from a personnel perspective, Maryland's definitely going to have some advantages against this Rucker roster, but I just don't think that it's enough for them to go out on the road and beat this Rutgers team at home. This isn't a talented Rutgers team like it was last year, but they definitely play gritty. They definitely rise to the occasion. And in a game like this, I have to see Rutgers have a better start to this game. We've seen them make very good second half comebacks. And with them shooting the basketball reasonably well, it's about them controlling pace and tempo, being able to score from the 3-point line and getting to the free throw line more, because their opponent in Maryland, they get to the free throw line. And those guys are going to score 15 or 16 points there and have a 10-point differential. It's going to be very difficult to cover that number if you're Rutgers, unless it's a complete blowout. I think that Rutgers is going to be able to beat them on the glass, facilitate the shit out of the basketball with the multiple ball handlers they have on the floor at the same time. And I think that I agree with Pete. Rutgers is going to fuck with their eyes open. I just think that at the end of the day, I'm getting the worst of the line, and I'm just not comfortable laying pregame with that.
Yeah, the problem also is that I agree with you. I kind of want, when I first capped the game, I was hoping for 1.5 or 2 or something like that. It is a revenge spot because Rutgers beat Maryland, at Maryland, and in that game, Rutgers shot 45 from 3, and Maryland shot like 25% or something like that. So, that's probably not going to happen again. And I wanted to ask you about this myself. Because sometimes those kinds of shooting numbers are the result of, just pure variance. Sometimes they are the result of fundamental matchup situations and matchup advantages. Why, if you remember, and I suspect that you do, did Rutgers dominate Maryland so much in that game earlier this year?
Well, I just think that when you look at Rutgers on the road, it's always hit or miss. You can't really expect a certain level of play. And in that game, pretty much if Ron Harper doesn't put in 30 plus, they don't win that game. So I don't want to oversimplify it, but I think that when you have an outlier performance like that from someone on your roster, it does go a long way. And it's something that we just don't see a repeatable game in and game out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Huge shout out to Hugh, and I'll say the second part of his screen name a couple hours from now.
Ryan Kozlowski next up, and he is looking at Fordham Dayton. Dayton opening up as 13.5-point favorites where they stand right now. Bet365 has moved to 14. The other books have not. This total opened up low at 125.5 and is all the way up to 130 at Pinnacle. They're leading the way to that over. Other books haven't caught up yet. Let's take it away. Maxwell Smart, Fordham, Dayton.
Yeah, I think that Fordham definitely lost a little bit of their appeal when it comes to backing them as a double-digit favorite recently. Yeah, they covered against Davidson. That was a really good game, but that was also a really emotional game for them. And I think that the biggest thing for them to take from that spot was, first off, Antonio Day. I don't even think he played in that game. And second, Darius Quisenberry had 36 points. I don't think Darius Quisenberry is scoring 36 points versus this Dayton front court. There's no way he's getting to the rim against Dayron Holmes and Mustafa Mzil and company like that. I think that when you look at it, Dayton definitely has first half ability, but with their offense being so inconsistent, you never know if they're going to be able to get over the 30-point plateau or not. What we can count on is the fact that they're going to bring some defense. And if this first half total is under 60, then that's something that I'd be looking at, because Dayton's been a very good team at clamping down and keeping their opponents on their home court at least at under 25 in the first half.
Let's keep rolling along. We have NBA coming up next, but we still have 5 more minutes of Maxwell Smart. Both Max and Pistol Pete Loshak in the black, plus units on the show. I'm starting to feel more and more nervous about Rutgers. That game also has second half written all over, halftime bet written all over it as well. I'm starting to feel really nervous about that one, Max. 3.5.
Trust your number, Pete. Trust your number. Trust your capping. Remember, you fuck with your eyes open. You don't close them. Okay,
he does.
You're okay.
He does.
Yeah, the problem is my numbers didn't quite like 3.5, but that's okay. It's an interesting game. It does have second half written all over.
Hey, listen. I'll remind you. I didn't like your South Florida play. We're not going to bring that up, but I do like this play. So you and I are going to ride together, and hookers are going to get paid for.
That one was close, though. It only lost by like a point or two, you know?
Yes, it did.
Yes.
3 different cappers want to talk about this next game, Max. We have our guy, Nasty Nate, Sammy Culmer, Jimmy Gomez. 3 guys that I just love capping with. All want to know about this Richmond, Rhode Island spot. Richmond, Rhode Island. This game pops off half an hour before the other action, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Rhode Island opening up as a favorite at -2.5, and we've had to switch to the Spiders. Spiders now 1-point favorites. This total's gone from 135.5 to 137.5. Max, you already gave us your breakdown on the final game on the board, Arizona UCLA. What is your look on the first game on the board, Richmond, Rhode Island?
Yeah, listen, I think that I'm still liking Rhode Island, even with the move towards Richmond. We know Richmond's going to be centered around Tyler Burton and what he can do offensively. It's just a matter of who else is going to step up, whether it be Nathan Kao, Grant Golden, Jacob Gilliard. There's a whole bunch of available freaking complimentary scoring support on the Richmond side. But I think going up against Rhode Island's front court with the Mitchell brothers is something that Richmond hasn't really seen a lot of. 2 true big men that are going to be on the floor 25 plus minutes. I like Ishmael Leggett. I think that obviously there are concerns with his shot selection and decision making. However, the X factor is a son of a former UConn star, Ishmael El-Amin. I think that with Ishmael being able to assert himself in the lineup, being able to play without fouls and without being the number 1 scoring option, getting all those touches is good fundamental Rhode Island basketball. I think Rhode Island wins the game. So you want to give me a +1 like that? I'll ride with my guy, freaking Nasty Nate, who I would like to assume is on his own Rams, and I'll go with them. My number says that this is a 3-point game in favor of Rhode Island.
Yeah, I mean, Rhode Island shot like 15% from 3 in their last 2 games and under 50% from the free throw line in their last 2 games. That, has got to get at least a little bit better here.
And as we speak, Nasty Nate is on the URI campus blowing weed smoke in the face of other students.
I thought he was on the URI team. Okay.
Oh, of course he is. And he's also on the campus. You're getting both. Max, sorry I interrupted you. Did you want to add anything to that spot?
Oh, no, I'm good. Let's get on to the next one.
All right, there you have it. Let's keep rolling. Next up, we have Billy Friedrich. Billy Friedrich, who's been line shopping for us, always supporting the show. Air Force, San Jose State's what he wants to talk about. We have San Jose State as a 1.5-point favorite and the total at 125.5. Break it down for us.
Yeah, listen, this is a great spot. When Jose sent me the list, I was like, Billy Friedrich, you are my guy. We think alike. I hope that we're on the same side here. I am all over Air Force. I'm sorry. It's a real ugly fucking opinion to have, but this Air Force team is very good when it comes to chasing teams off the 3-point line, which they're going to have to do against San Jose State. They can score with the best of them right now in the conference, and I'm talking about just from the 3-point line. Obviously, we have issues with pace and tempo and free throw shooting when it comes to this group, but I think that the emergence of Ethan Taylor, the emergence of Jake Heidbreder, that's the difference in this game. If those 2 young kids come to play and support AJ Walker, I think Air Force is walking out with the win. So I'll ride Air Force as an official play on the money line, Jim.
Let's get you Air Force on the money line. While I'm line shopping for that, we have both Michael Irvelina and Brian Pacone wanting to talk Toledo, Buffalo. Little action for the boys here. Let me give you a line. Toledo opening up as 5.5-point favorites. Let's move to 4.5. This total's gone from 158.5 down to 156.5 at Pinnacle. Pinnacle with the lowest total on the board. Max, Buffalo, Toledo.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge match of different style teams. Buffalo is a real freaking crash the boards type team where you see Toledo is all about freaking lighting you up in bunches. When I look at this game, it's very hard not to like Toledo, at least in the first half. By the numbers, they've been consistently able to put up 40 plus in both sets of both sets within the game. I think their 3-point shooting is definitely head and shoulders better with less volume than Buffalo. And we see Buffalo start games like 2 for 12 from 3. That's not going to cut it in this matchup. They're going to have to get to the free throw line more, dominate the offensive glass, extend and get extra scoring opportunities. And if they can't control their turnover issues, and I'm talking about Ronaldo Segou, I'm talking about Keyshawn Bruton, then I think Toledo's going to freaking win this game quite comfortably. They looked real good last time out. I think that Toledo first half will be the play that I make, and then I bet the game again at halftime.
Yep, Ronaldo Segou, we're talking to you. I was liking Toledo as well here, and maybe the Toledo team total over, but those have both gotten bet down a little bit. Any explanation? Is Buffalo going to successfully slow the game down or something? Maxwell Smart, I'm talking to you.
Buffalo has definitely been trying to slow the game down. I think that it's more also a side of just inefficiency that their games have been going and being less scoring. So I think that Toledo definitely gets the best of them. And regardless of Buffalo wanting to control the tempo, I don't think that they're able to, especially with the versatility of their front court.
So there's no reason not necessarily to like a team total over with Toledo either.
I personally like it more.
All right, Jimmy the Bag. I'll throw that one on officially. I'll throw a team total over on there. Toledo full game team total over. Let's see what it's getting bit down. But that's okay. I'm seeing 80.5 minus 106. You can make that official for me, Jimmy the Bag.
Toledo team total over 80.5.
And I also like them on the spread.
Toledo over at minus 106. And although the sample size for Pistol is small in NCAA basketball, he's been very good. 22 and 15, 59.5%, plus 5.55 units, ROI plus 15%, average line minus 111. When he joined us on Tuesday, lost to Wisconsin first half, but cashed Ohio minus 1 and the Iowa State team total.
Jimmy the Bag.
Oh, sorry.
I won with Wisconsin on the first
My
half.
fault. Cashed to Wisconsin first half minus 1, cashed Ohio minus 1, lost with the Iowa State team total over 61.
Right.
One there. Let's keep rolling here. We are almost done with Maxwell Smart. Thank you guys for sending in your games. There are 2 games left that they want to ask about. If we can be very quickly, we might be able to touch on them both. And the first one is this Fresno State game. Max has had such a good eye on Fresno State. He's been putting money in our pockets of Fresno State. They're 5-point favorites, and this total's at 139. Max, what do you think? Fresno State, New Mexico.
Yeah, this is a spot where I'm definitely looking towards the total in the first half. This is a spot where I think that Fresno has to score, and I'm definitely looking for a first half over in that spot.
Definitely looking at a first half over. And then the final game from our Bill McDonald. Thank you guys all so much for putting in these games. Thank you for Max coming up with this idea of handling our college basketball this way. Is the William and Mary Charleston. We'll stop there. Charleston 13.5 point favorites. There's an opener now 14.5, and this total is shot up from 152.5 all the way to 157, Max.
Yeah, this is just a spot where I back Charleston first half. I'm very cautious of going against William and Mary in conference. The development that we've seen from guys like Tyler Rice have been pretty phenomenal, and they do look like a complete team now. So just Charleston first half, looking for Demetrius Underwood and John Meeks to fuck with their eyes open early.
That is all the games. Jose, thank you for getting them to us so cleanly. Max is on 4 games, but 5 bets. He's on Duke full game minus 11 at minus 108. Duke first half minus 6 at minus 113. Syracuse first half minus 2 at minus 106. Texas TCU first half over 56.5 at minus 114. And the Air Force money line at plus 115. Shout out to Billy Friedrich for helping us line shop. Pistol Pete is on Toledo team total over 80.5 at minus 106. By the way, Matty Ice says William and Mary at plus 14.5 is on his card for 2 units. Says I don't think Charleston can cover this number. Don't forget the taint play today is UCLA plus 3.5. And Michael Irvine says huge shout out to Max. Love this new format. And we don't say thank you enough for sharing your knowledge. Max, my man, thank you. Stay rolling in the black, my friend. Thank you for joining our show. We love having you on. Any final thoughts here before you head into the glory of your big show at 5 p.m. alongside Connor Mack?
Well, the glory is that Pete is not wearing his Elton John glasses. I am so happy to see him not wearing them. And I would like him to come on the show tomorrow. So make it happen, Jimmy.
I will
to the chat. You guys are awesome. Fuck with your eyes open. Don't dip your chicken tenders in honey mustard, please.
There he is, Maxwell Smart. And we have been working, Jose and I, on the graphics for Max. That will be up soon. We are working on them as we speak. Ski Profit giving you a shout out, Max. Thank you for sharing your hard work with us, and catch him 5 p.m. today and Monday to Friday with Connor Mack. And we have the great luxury of having him on our show every day, and I love it so much. All right, we move on to NBA. And those of you know that Jose was afraid to put my record up on the screen. He thought that it would we'd lose viewers, and he was, I didn't want it on the screen for more than 10 seconds at a time, so I was partly at blame for it not to be on the screen. Look, I was getting destroyed, and I still have a bad record on the year, but I am on a 28-12 run plus 15.33 units. The guests we've had on the show have been excellent. The cappers we have in the chat have been excellent, and we are rolling. So instead of being down 22.5 units, I'm down 7.6 units. 72 and 73, 49.7% ROI minus 5.26%, average line minus 109. And I have hope. And there's nothing more dangerous than a man with hope. Please please welcome your guest of the evening, pride of Compton, California. Trot Wam in the house. Walter Trotter, how are you, my man?
What's up, man? What's up, guys? What's up? Glad to be back with the crew. Glad to be glad here.
From this card. We usually only do 2 or 3, but here we go. Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm definitely locked in. We have a fucking double side back-to-back page full of notes.
Man.
So, yeah, man. Let's get it, bro. Let's get it, man.
I am ready, Jimmy the Bag. I'm, not that.
Well, you know what? Before you go in there, shout out to the chat, like my guy Dutch does. Shout out to the chat, Ski Profit, North Ender. Shout out to Don Mac. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Jimmy being transparent. Man, let's be real. I've been fucking trash on this show as well. I'm coming in here to tell you guys today we're going to be very fucking selective, and we're going to try to hit these targets for sure. And I'm ready. I'm locked in, bro. I'm ready to get it today, bro.
Yeah, I mean, from day one, we never lied about our records on the Low Bag show. But the reason that so many people don't do that is because it's just a horrible business decision. You know what I mean? From a rating perspective, it's just really stupid. I mean, we did it, but it's not advised. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why people don't do it. There's a reason. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Mike M says, today's card feels suspect. Looking forward to the breakdown. We got Astute Chaos's action as well. I love knowing what he's on. We have Dan Kelly's. We have Schnizzles. Anybody else with action, pop it in the chat, and I will copy and paste it. We start game 1, 7 p.m. Eastern. Denver Nuggets 24-21, 11-12 on the road at Detroit Pistons 11-35, 7-14 at home. We're at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. We have both Dan Kelly and Astute Chaos moving on this game. Astute Chaos is on this first half over 112.5. He got that almost no vig at minus 102. And then Dan Kelly is on Detroit plus 7. Let's move over to the market that we're dealing with and take a look at the cash flow as well. Let me move over to NBA. And Pete, would you like to be going second here? Would you like to intro games? How would you prefer to do NBA today?
I guess what I would prefer, since you go in order of like shittiest capper to best capper, I would prefer to go first, if that would be okay. You know what I mean?
To intro the games?
Yeah, that would save me from any responsibility of that, having to give educated opinions.
Okay, cool. So let's start that in the next game. I'll finish off here, but let's start that for Charlotte, Toronto next up. You can open that up. But right now we're talking Denver, Detroit, and Ski Profit says Pistons at home as a big dog, and first half full game over 2 from Ski Profit. I'm going to copy and paste that and get that above the game so I can keep that remembered. This opened up with Denver at -7. They're now -7.5. This total's gone from 217 to 216.5. Let's go over to the live odds and see what we're dealing with. We have 7,969 tickets in, 66% of the tickets, 73% of the cash on the Nuggets, 10% of the tickets on the over, and 42% of the cash. Wow. So it's dropped a point, but you can clearly put together that the sharp money is on that over. Denver 3-2, 19th in pace over their past 5 games, 97.47 possessions a game. Detroit 1-4 and just barely ahead of them at 15th in pace over those 5 games, 97.80 possessions a game. Denver comes in off their second win in 3 games, 117, 111 at home over these Pistons on Sunday. Detroit's second straight loss in 4th and 5 games. They came back big, put a 16-point deficit away, but then Denver scored these last 6 points of the game. Jokic goes for 34, 9, and 8. Boogie Cousins is trying to add something to this team. He did have 6 rebounds in 12 minutes. Pistons shot 56% of the field and couldn't beat this basketball team. Isaiah Stewart, 8 for 8 from the field for 18 points. Cunningham, Joseph, Trey Lyles, all 18 as well. And Jeremy Grant expected to be back in action. He's being recalled from the Motor City Cruise after completing his rehab assignment. And he is a big difference maker. Pistol Pete, what do you think of this first game on the board? Nuggets, Pistons.
Yeah, a few things. First of all, I actually probably be better if you intro the NBA games and then go to me second, okay? Can we do it that way?
Sure, buddy.
All right, okay. And then, so yeah, I was going to say maybe this is why I suck at NBA capping, but I was like, how do you not bet Detroit as such a huge home dog here? But then I'm seeing Ski Profit, Pistons at home as a big dog money. I'm seeing Ron Crawford someone else. Ron Crawford says spreadsheet play of the day, Sacramento. But someone else Ryan Taylor likes Detroit money line. Some people I respect a lot here. Ron Crawford spreadsheet plays 68% Detroit. I mean, I know Denver is a significantly better team, but the last game went down to the wire, but now it's up to 7.5. I don't understand it, but Detroit's got to be the play here. No, Trot Wam?
Gotta be. I mean, you said it, bro. Them getting Jeremy Grant back, that allows them to have a actual go-to scorer outside of Cade. Like, you got this young kid straight out the draft, you know what I mean, to be your main guy. Without Jeremy Grant, he has to be the main clutch guy as well. So that's kind of a little bit too much to ask with all the on-ball duties, defensive assignments, whatever. But in this game, like my guy Ski said, both of these are bottom 5 in defense and defensive rating. 26 for the Denver over the last 5 games, dead last for Detroit. They're not going to play that much more defense with Jeremy Grant back in the lineup. He's not like
by the way, Wham, sorry to interrupt, but Viper MB saying that Grant is out.
And that would also explain the line move, which makes me feel better about it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. But I didn't really have it's not about him as far as what they will be getting him offensively. I think what you're seeing from the defense from both sides, just like Ski said, bottom 5 defense, dead last for Detroit. And these guys have been very efficient. Number 4 in efficiency over the last 5 games for the Denver Nuggets. 16th inefficient for the Detroit Pistons. I said it last week. I think their offense is kind of getting a little bit better. It was a lot worse. It was 26th last week. So, and I think we get every week that I'm doing the show, Dan Kelly is on the Pistons. I think that is just that's just the funniest shit to me. But I'm right there with you, though, Dan. I think the Pistons are the spot, even without Grant in the lineup. I wasn't really banking on him being in the lineup. That's an added bonus for me. You know what I mean? So if he was in the lineup, cool, whatever. What you're getting from this Detroit Pistons team, you're going to see them play a little bit more greedy. They seem like they got a little bit more greedy. All these guys are finding a way to distribute the ball. Killian Hayes has had a couple of 5-game assists. You're seeing Corey Joseph being very consistent at distributing the ball. And we all know I've been riding the K assist train here. I think they're going to be able to get to it. And as far as the opponents, what these guys have been allowing opponents, 55.7 points in the fourth quarter over the last 5 games. That's Denver. They giving up the goods late down the stretch still. We've seen them fall and collapse time after time, week after week. We all know this, man. We've been on Denver. We've been off Denver. You know what I'm saying? I think it's the time to be attacking them today. So I think Detroit Pistons is the spot. I think the best play here is what the guy said in the chat. First half over, last 10 for Denver, 8-1-1 to the first half over. So I do like the 111 Denver first half.
Do we want to make that first half over official?
That's for sure. That's for sure.
All right, let's lock in that right now. See if I can beat that. You said it was a 111.
Yes, sir. I had it at 111, but it was last night. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really check right now. You already know the vibes, bro. I'm like getting kids situated stuff before I hop up.
111.5 at Pinnacle, and let's see if we can beat that here. 110.5. 110.5 at Circa right now. 110.5. Let's get you that. Wham! Pistons first half over 110.5, and that was just with minus 107. Is that right? It is beautiful. It's minus 107 juice.
Let's go.
All right. So
Good looking.
lots of thoughts on the Pistons. Is there anything that you're going to make official here, Pete?
Yeah, I'll take Detroit plus 7.5 minus 106. I mean, the line doesn't quite make sense to me, but if I see, Ski Profit and Ron Crawford both endorsing it, it makes sense. So I'll take it. 7.5 minus 106, and Grant being out makes the line make more sense to me, and the movement make more sense to me as well. So yeah, I'll take plus 7.5 minus 106.
Sammy says, how motivated will the Nuggets be to blow these guys out after just beating them? And the Nuggets have the Nets tomorrow. That's a great point that they have the Nets tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't mention that. My fault, you guys. Yeah, this is their second game playing each other, so back to back, kind of interesting.
And then with the Brooklyn on deck, Ski Profit says Pistons as a 7 or higher home dog are 9-3-1 against the spread this season. That's a great stat.
I mean, yeah,
that's a really good shot. Also, the game that they just played, the Pistons fouled 7 more times, turned over the ball 11 more times. They just gotta, get it together. You know what I'm saying? As far as like being together, second time playing, I don't think they're gonna 11 turnovers. I don't think that's happening.
All right, we are on the board. I'm gonna need more time to sit with this, but I like that. It seems like everybody's on the same wavelength. Let's move on. 7 p.m. Eastern, Charlotte Hornets 26-21, 13-14 on the road at Toronto Raptors, 22-22, 12-12 at home. We're at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, with no fans. Charlotte is 3-2 over their past 5, 9th in pace at 99.30 possessions a game, while the Raptors are 3-2 over their past 5 as well, 27th in pace, 94.90 possessions a game. They have lost 3 of 4. So how could they be 3-2 over the past 5? That doesn't make any sense. I believe I looked at that wrong. Let's take a look at the spread here that we are dealing with. First off, there are 43% of the tickets on the Raptors and 66% of the cash. Then from a total standpoint, 72% of tickets are on the over and 95% of the cash. So this total has gone from 221.5 to 222.5 or 223. Ski looking at the under in this game. Very interesting. Going against this a market move with no fear whatsoever. The Raptors open up at -3. They're now -3.5. That makes sense from a market standpoint, or see at least where the cash is. Hornets had their 3-game winning streak snapped in an ugly 113-91 loss at home to the Hawks on Sunday with no Hayward. They shot 4 of 36 from 3, 34 of 87 overall, missed their first 18 attempts from 3. LaMelo 0 for 8 from 3, Oubre 1 for 9 from 3. He's not looked good since coming back from COVID protocols. Raptors coming off their 3rd loss in 4 games, 114-105 at home versus the Blazers on Sunday. They fell behind by 34 in the second quarter. They were down 30 at halftime and mounted a massive comeback that just fell short. Siakam went for 26 of 28 in the second half for Toronto. Here we go, Pistol, Hornets, Raptors.
My first thought was agreeing with Ski Profit was under when I looked at this, but I'm just not sure what to make of the Raptors. I don't follow NBA as closely as you guys do. I mean, when the Raptors were rolling ATS a couple weeks ago, they were going over in every game, especially at home, and they were high-scoring games. So my first thoughts were Charlotte and the over, but Toronto, of course, started their last game, horribly, and so they're probably going to be keyed in to not have another bad start. So I guess it's going to be a pass for me. Although the under seems maybe too good, I don't know what to think of it. But so my initial lean was under, but I'm off it now.
I'm hesitant to fade a Hornets team that is coming off playing so poorly. Wham, what do you think here, Hornets Raptors? You're on mute, my guy.
My fault, guys. My fault. I just appreciate you guys for telling me to. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Appreciate you guys again. Yeah, this is a tricky game, bro. This is a definitely tricky game. Hornets covered last 5 meetings, 4-1 in Toronto as well. ATS. As far as these teams being off of a loss, they're both really good. 70%, 75% for the Hornets. Hornets are in the last 10 first half are 7-3, so they've been covering the first half as of recently. It's a tough game, man. It's a tough game. I like the under though. I think Ski probably hit it right on the head here. Even though I do believe that the defense that you're getting from the Hornets it could be up and down here. You know what I mean? They are playing really good defensive, out of their mind, I would say, defensively. Number 3 in defensive rating over the last 5 games. The Hornets there. You know the Raptors, they're going to play pretty much good defense. Like you said, there's no fans in there, so it could be just more of a, pickup game type of style here. I do expect Terry Rozier to go over 19.5 points. I will say that. He had a bad game. I expect him to ball out. So that's the reason why I probably don't want to take the under here, is because I expect certain guys to bounce back and play good against these guys. So it's kind of tough for me to take the under here. So I'm staying away from that. I think the Hornets kind of would come out a little bit more hotter off of the loss rather than the Raptors in this spot. And I'm just saying that based off of what you're seeing from the Raptors at the house. And I think the Hornets are just probably going to be a little bit more hotter. So I like the Hornets in the first half. It's nothing official yet, but that's the way I'm leaning here.
Astute Chaos is on Charlotte, Toronto first half under 113.5. Dan Kelly on Charlotte team total over 109.5. So tricky game. I agree. Tricky game. Ski Profits Hornets been talking about defense lately. Third best defensive rated team last 5 games. Hornets last 2 wins average 207.8 points. Raptors games last 2 wins average 202.7. Both teams 12-2 to the under. Wow.
Yeah, that's
great stats.
The Raptors are bottom 5 too in effective field goal percentage.
Oh, sorry, that was last 2 weeks. My fault. Sorry, I said wins. Thank you. Sorry, what was that, Wamba?
No, I was just going to count. Add to that the Raptors have been pretty much bad offensively over the last 5 games. They're ranked 28th in effective field goal percentage. So,
and yeah, I said weeks. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I got you, Ski.
Very quickly about Toronto, and any of you can answer this. I know they had a road trip where they were kind of 50-50 ATS wise, but before that, they were pretty much a covering machine for a bunch of weeks in a row. What's the difference between then and now?
Honestly, the way I see it is that it is very tough to defend when we have 4 players all at 6'8" on the floor or 6'9" on the floor, and Van Fleet moving the ball around. And I think that teams have been watching tape of it, and figuring out how to defend or more to the point, how to attack that lineup that the Raptors have. But Wham, what do you think? Why are the, and remember, the Raptors were dealing with injuries to Trent, to Kem Birch, so they were playing nobody. When Champagny got hurt, they were playing 6 guys on the floor, and it could be getting tired. Let's see what Wham Bam thinks. What do you think?
Because I'll be honest with you, I'm an inch away from taking Charlotte plus 3.5. Just being honest here.
Yeah, I like them first half. I haven't bet that yet, but that's the way I'm leaning. I think they come out hot. But as far as what's the question again? Just to make sure I answer it correctly.
What's going on with the Raptors? Why aren't they covering of late after being a covering machine?
It really is kind of like guys are just not really there. I mean, it seems like they are building a wall on Siakam too. When I was watching the game last night, the last game, it seemed like they were really building a wall around it. Like like as far as like what they're doing for Giannis, and if he's not like that confident to pull up, he's going to drive. So we just know he's going to drive. It's kind of like we know how to game plan around that. I think you may be right as well about Fred VanVleet, but I think Fred VanVleet just seeing some tough defense right now. They're really keying in on him and just cutting Siakam off. But the guys got to start making their shots, I think, and that's really what is. Do you really think they're going to make their shots today? That's the problem here, man.
No.
That's my problem here. Are they going to make their shots today? That's my real problem here. But this team in the freaking, they look good on paper, man. They look good. Hornets, they look good on paper defensively. Like, I just think that maybe Toronto can win this game. I want to stay away from the full game. That's the reason why I want to take the first half and just get in, get out, bro. Like, like Dutch will say, leave this shit alone. Just get in, get out. Don't even watch the second half. You know what I mean? But I think the Raptors probably could win and shit. But it's just tough, bro. It's tough. I don't really believe in the Hornets defense. That's what I would say.
Well, Ron Crawford says spreadsheet play, stat play 15-7 Charlotte. Dan Kelly likes the Charlotte team total over, so I'll make Charlotte on official play plus 3.5 minus 108. What the hell? Put it down, Jim.
And Lingo Wick saying Hornets first half and full game, but Eric Jones says, I'm telling y'all, Raps
Oh,
money
shit.
line. Raps money
Yeah,
line.
I don't like
Let's
those
lock
y'all picks. I'm telling y'all,
Low
opinions
side.
tend to be very, very high percentage.
Hornets plus 3.5 minus 108. You said?
Yeah, I'm telling y'all, opinions are actually a higher percentage than even all caps opinions. Believe it or not, Jimmy.
Okay, let's keep rolling. Next up for us, 7 p.m. Eastern, LA Clippers 23-25, 8-13 on the road at Washington Wizards, 23-24, 13-11 at home. Shout out to It's Durl, who's hit 10 straight sides on the show, and he didn't move on the Clippers first quarter, but he was leaning to it. I did, and was very thankful. Capital One Arena, Washington, D.C. Clippers 2-3 over the past 5, 24th in pace at 96.1 possessions a game. Washington 1-4, 12th in pace, 98.4 is 0 possessions a game. We have Mr. Gokster, and we have T-Mac, both Belleville's finest. Both Belleville, Ontario bred boys in the house. Nutfly says, Jimmy and everyone else, do you know the exact date they stopped having fans in the arena? Shit.
It was like 2 weeks ago, I want to say, right?
Yeah, I'd have to look that up when Doug Ford, and I can do that while we're discussing this. Let's go. Clippers, Wizards. We have the Clip Show opening up as 4-point dogs. They've gone to 4.5. This total's gone from 218.5 to 219.5 at Pinnacle, but there is 220 at other books. When we go over to the cash flow, we have 58% of the tickets, 66% of the cash on the Wizards. And then we have 80% of the tickets, 98% of the cash on the over, and it's going up. Clippers coming off their second loss in 3 games, 110-102 at the Knicks on Sunday. Reggie goes for 26. He's looked very good over his last 4 games, 24.8 points. Still, he's got so much skill, and I just never know when he's going to put out max effort. When he looked like he didn't have an NBA career, he put out max effort. He's always been somebody I've had trouble with because he's got the skill set to be very good. Zubac, third straight double-double, 17 and 14. Kennard goes for 14. Brandon Boston Jr. goes for 13. Wizards coming off their third straight loss, an ugly 116-87 setback at home to the Celtics. All 3 losses have come at home. This feels like a must-win for this Wiz squad. That 29-point loss was the worst loss of the season for the Wizards. You have to think they bounced back. They were 35.5% from the floor, 23.5% from 3. And Bradley Beal, Spencer Dinwiddie, and KCP combined to go 0 for 14 from 3 in that game. It's a similar spot to the Hornets. Do we see this team bouncing back offensively? We'll start with Pistol Pete, Lodos, Loshak. What do you think here?
I don't know. I was thinking it's got to be a bounce back spot for Washington, but it's hard to bet on a team that's been so bad ATS recently. Although a bunch of those games were close ATS wise, and they're also not losing those games straight up. They're losing more than 50%, but they're getting some wins here and there. So I was thinking it's got to be a Washington spot, but I hate trying to time ATS turnarounds in any sport. So I wanted to hear what you guys had to say first. But my first thought was Washington.
Let's jump to Wham. But first off, Sammy Comer, first game without fans was against the Knicks on January 2nd. Thank you for answering that question, Sammy. Wham, this is just, I love this. Working all together to defeat the juice. I love it. Take it away, Wham Bam, Clippers, Wizards.
Yeah, that shit's dope, bro. I appreciate you with the stat there, man. This is the first meeting for the season for these 2 teams. Clippers, they kind of played pretty well in the last game, I would say. You mentioning about Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson, second highest points in his career. He's had 40. His 39-point game came against the Washington Wizards back in 2016. Just wanted to bring that up since you mentioned him, bro. The last 3 times he's faced this franchise, it really hasn't been that much, but it's been guys in the lineup. This is the first time I would say he is going to probably try to go off on him or whatever you can say, but I don't have anything on the props or anything. I just want to mention that. As far as this game, though, Washington, man, they're 3-7 last 10 at the house, man, against the spread. It's just they're not really that good at home, I mean, it's just like it's weird as fuck, man. It's just these guys are not really that good at home. The Clippers being on this trip, going against these guys, I could see them probably playing up to this. I think they are the better team in the Washington Wizards. The Kuzma props pretty much as far as the rebounds. They may have died. Seems like Rui Hachimura had a pretty good game last game. He may be a little bit more pushed into it. Thomas Bryant has been hitting. He hit 2 out of 3 of his threes here. So he's going to be on the floor, I believe, in this game as well. So I can see those guys playing up to their potential and beating out on the Clippers. It's just tough. This is another tricky game, in my opinion, because you don't know what you're going to get from the Clippers as far as the effort. They could be on some bullshit sometimes, and Ty Lue tends to like let them slide and just go on with the next game based off of what they have on the floor. So this could be one of those games they be outgunned, but I don't want to have anything to do with the Clippers here. So I would only say Washington Wizards here. Have I moved on it? No, but that's the way I'm looking here. I'm thinking Washington Wizards, maybe full game, even though they're bad at the house, like I mentioned. It just seems as, it's tough to say. It's tough to say. This is the back-to-back tricky games for me, though. But honestly, I have nothing on this game so far, but it probably would be Washington with you guys. I think that makes sense.
I think that for me, the difference between this Hornets Raptors spot and the Clippers Wizards spot is with the Raptors at home, not playing very good basketball. They need to step up here after looking so good a week ago. I expect the Hornets to have a bounce back spot. Will it be enough? A lot of the cappers in the chat think it will be, and I get that. Here, I don't. Do the Clippers need to step up here? Do they? I mean, they're just kind of going through the motions, waiting for players to get back. Much love, Ski. Best of luck, my man. I think that the Wizards are the play here, but do I want to catch a falling knife? I think I do. I think I'm going to move on to Wizards to step up.
Astute Chaos. Am I muted or can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Got you, bro.
Astute Chaos means first half under because the Clippers control the pace and they keep it slow. And the Wizards, after that embarrassment, they got to D up at least for this one. That's effort right there. What about first half under? And the first half total is significantly lower than 50% of the full game total, although the full game total is getting bet up. Weird.
It is strange. And we have this spot where 80% of the tickets are on the over, 98% of the cash is on the over.
Okay. I'll pass.
I'll have to see because I've made no bets in NBA right now. I'll have to see if I have more action. But God, I would just feel like a bounce back spot here against the Clippers team that I don't have too much worry about. Let's move on. Next up, 7 p.m. Eastern, New Orleans Pelicans 18-28, 7-17 on the road at Philadelphia 76ers, 27-19, 10-10 at home. We're at Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Pelicans 3-2 over the past 5, 18th in pace at 97.6 possessions a game, while the Sixers are 3-2, 23rd in pace at 96.1 possessions a game. Let's bring up the market here. We have the Sixers opening up at -8, now at -8.5, and the total at 216, now at 214. I'm getting different. Let me just
big move for the Sixers. Someone's out for the Pelicans that wasn't expected.
So it has moved to 11. Okay, I was wondering if that was real. Yes, it's moved to 11. The Sixers are now -11, and we had that in the chat. The chat was telling us all of these guys are out for the Pelicans. I'm going to look that up. We know they're not playing with Brandon Ingram, but it sounds like there's some other players. Possibly
Josh Hart is out. Yeah, they only have Herb Jones, Temple, Nikhil Alexander, Jackson Hayes, Thomas Satoransky. They're going to bring him out. Gary Clark will play a lot. Willie Herman Gomez. They only have those guys.
Ooh, that's ugly. Ugly. Sixers coming off their second win in 3 games, 115-109 at the Spurs. Embiid 38, 12, and 6. And the Sixers are starting a 5-game homestand. And they've been so bad at home, sitting at 10-10 at home, which is nuts. And Seth Curry, Danny Green, Shake Milton, all going to be out of the lineup. But Matisse Thybulle is upgraded to questionable. Sammy says this is a cold under. When we go over to the cash in this game, we have 13,366 tickets in Wild. So 74% of tickets, 98% of the cash is on the Sixers, and that line's moved quickly. And we don't know the cash flow on the total, just that 51% of tickets are on the under. Pete, what do you think of this spot?
Last night I looked at this game and I was like, this does look like one of the double-digit home wins for Philly. But now that the line has moved and all those guys are out, we know in the NBA a lot of times when these very much lesser known guys get a chance to start and play a full game, they give it everything they've got, and the talent discrepancy is not that huge. relative to, like, say, college basketball. So I was ready to give Philly before all this information and the line move came out at -8.5, but I think I'm going to pass for now. Too many unknowns.
What do you think, Wham? Interesting breakdown, Pistol.
I got it right. Okay, so I agree with you though, Pete. I think this may be a spot that we have to just attack here. I think Embiid. Why would Embiid not go off here? You know what I mean? Why would it be a blowout though? You know, so maybe him getting to the points maybe is not the spot. You want to look at guys that's going to get some run. So I'm thinking Court Moss over threes. Now that we get the news here, I'm thinking Court Moss over 2.5 threes at big plus money. That may be something I'm eyeing here. Again, I haven't bet this game because I was waiting for Josh Hart. I knew he was questionable. I knew he was questionable. I knew Brandon Ingram was questionable. Josh Hart, last night he came out with a ankle, I believe, ankle injury.
Yeah,
and he had the double-double though. He had the double-double. I was freaking. I written it down. It hurt my soul. I didn't bet that shit. And it's. I think he was going to play really well today, but obviously he's not in the lineup. So who cares? Herb Jones, I did have him yesterday. Maybe I was one day early. He's probably going to eat today. As far as what they're going to throw out there were already guys that were listed out for the 76ers as well. Like, you're not going to have Thibault. You're not having Seth Curry. You're not having Shake Milton. You're not having Danny Green as well. Last 5 meetings, the Embiid has pretty much been on a force MVP. The last few weeks, he's been on a force MVP level there. 3 and 7 the last 10 in a row games as far as what Nola has. So they only won 3 of the last 10 road games. It's just something I don't want to mess around with, even though they have covered 5 of the last 6 meetings against this team. And, they're not that bad off of back-to-back. They have won some games in second half back-to-back, 3 and 4. It's just the circumstances is just really, really odd and strange here as far as the Nola side. So I'm definitely not thinking anywhere other than smashing the 76ers, man. It's 11 right now. Probably should be 14. You know what I mean? Even if Embiid doesn't play, they probably should still beat them by 14 because what they have available. No Jonas, no
but
Brandon
where's
Ingram,
that? Where's the Valanciunas confirmed? I don't see that anywhere.
I have that underdog confirmed that.
And what? Because it's not on Roto. What do they say about Valanciunas?
The Valanciunas just ruled out. They have them ruled out. The available players, but you know what? Let's not jump the brakes, like you said, slow down. But if that's the case, that's a big deal, man, and that could be the reason for the line moving like that. So, who they have out there? They Willie Hernan-Gomez, Larry Clark, you know what I'm saying? Jackson Hayes, he's going to play a little bit better, but Herb Jones is going to be the main ball handler here. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he's going to have to step up. Are you going to bank on them? I can't, bro. So it got to be. I like Court Moss. I like the over 2.5 threes, bro. I think he gets run in the blowout.
See, we've seen this, like Pete says, so often where these guys who are getting this opportunity step up. We know that money's just going to come pouring in on the Sixers all day. I wonder what that first quarter ends up at for the Pelicans, because
I'm an inch away from taking under 212, Jim. Just being honest here. Just being honest.
Yeah, man. I can see that for sure. Somebody said it's a cold under. That just couldn't help but laugh, but this is for sure a cold under, dude. It was a cold under before.
Wow, this is strange. Pete, it's like the market understands that situation. The Pelicans first quarter at Bet3. So listen to this, Pete. The first half is +6 for the Pelicans. And usually when these big dogs play, you're going to get that big. The first quarter is just +2.5. So there's a sense that
I tell you something, Jim.
Yeah. So I'm gonna, you know what? I'm going to wait. Everybody's saying that Jonas is out for sure. I'm gonna wait and see what I can get that Pelicans first quarter at.
And you can put me down for under 212 -108, current line that I'm seeing at Heritage. You can put me down for that, Jim.
Loshak is on the under 212 at -108. That's from Penny.
And from Heritage. Penny
Heritage. Okay.
Right now, but it doesn't matter.
And anything for you, Wham Bam, officially?
What I have written down here, the last 5 home games for 76ers, they're allowed 106 points, 45% field goal percentage at 43% from 3, 8 and 12 ATS at the house. I think I do want the full game here for the 76ers. I think they blow them out here. You can lock me in on the 76ers minus 11. That's going to be something I lock in here. And as far as the props, I haven't really made any prop bets. I made a few here, but nothing I'm going to give out official. So the one that I did like, though, in that one is that definitely Court Moss over 2.5 threes. I think if it is a blowout, which I expect it to be, he's still going to get some burn. Even if it is a close game, he will get the burn as well. So I like the and burn by mean minutes, you guys. I'm sorry, he will get minutes there in this game. So that's the way I think in this game. But as far as the Embiid prop 2, I had that written down because I thought it was going to be more of a competition here in this game for sure. So I'm going to definitely X that out. I'm not messing around with the Embiid prop. So that's pretty much it for me. I'm locking in at 11 for Philly for sure.
And you can get that right now still at Pinnacle minus 106 low juice as well.
And actually, Jim, I just I refreshed Pinnacle and I'm seeing under 212 at plus 101. So I'll take that. That's not a great sign, but I'll take it. Plus 101, not 108. Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. So you just refreshed Pinnacle and it changed?
Yeah. Well, it was off the board before, and then I just refreshed to see if it was on the board, and it was. So I just saw it.
Should do the exact same.
Plus 101. And yeah, the Philly line is the minus 11, minus 106.
Yeah. All right, there you have it. So Wham's locked in with the Sixers minus 11, minus 106. Pistol Pete Loshak's on the under 212 at plus 101. And I agree with Sammy. I think that this ends up I know. I'm going to keep an eye on that first quarter because I have a sneaking suspicion that they come out hard. Let's keep rolling. And next up, we come to spreadsheet play of the day in NBA number 2, the Sacramento Kings. We're going to give the spreadsheet play of the day the best line available, which I think is a 9 right now. He's fresh off sweeping the NBA board, going 2-0 on Friday. Shout out to Ron Crawford on the Sacramento Kings. Let's take a look at Astute Chaos and the action here. We have nothing from Dan Kelly and nothing from Astute Chaos on this game. Okay, so let's roll on. Sacramento 2-3 over the past 5, first in pace at 102.40 possessions a game. Have usurped the Houston Rockets, who are now 4th in pace and have really slowed down their pace. Boston 3-2, 26th in pace, 95.60 possessions a game. These Kings 18 36 and 14 on the road against the Celtics team playing 500 ball on the year, but 15-10 at home. Sacramento opening up as 8.5-point dogs. We do see 9s on the board. This total sticking at 220.5. When we get over to the cash flow in this spot, we see these Kings with 72% of the tickets, oddly enough, and just 10% of the cash. So big bets coming in on Boston. Then the total has 79% of the tickets on the over and 90% of the cash on the over, and it hasn't moved, which is strange. Kings coming off their third straight loss, 133-127 at the Bucks on Saturday. Harrison Barnes goes for 29, 11-18 shooting, and 6 boards. Halliburton, a big night. We know that Wham has cashed often on his player props. 24 points, 12 assists, 6 boards. Terrence Davis goes for 22 and 7. Rashawn Holmes 17 and 7. No De'Aaron Fox. He was game day scratch with ankle injury, and his status is up in the air right now. I don't know if anybody can confirm if he will be in or not. Celtics snapped their 2-game losing streak by beating up on the Wizards 116-87 at Washington. Tatum goes for 51, 18-28 shooting, 9-14 from 3. He had missed 17 straight shots from 3 going into the game. Smart goes for 11, 6 and 4. Jaylen Brown 18 and 10. Grant Williams 10 and 7 off the bench. Pistol Pete Loshak. We see Ron on the Kings. What do you think of this big dog?
Yeah, my note was guessing Sack might be the play here. Question mark. But in general, really not sure what to make of this game. There you go. That's my breakdown. That's my analysis.
Trot Wam, Kings Celtics.
Yeah, man. Like you said, bro, Halliburton first game back off a 2-game absence. Come back and give the Bucks 8 and 14, 5 from 8 from 3, and then 24 points, 12 assists. Come on, man. What is Daryl Morey smoking, bro? You seen the he should have been able to. What is Daryl Morey smoking now? If you don't know what I'm talking about, he pretty much neglected a trade for Ben Simmons for this guy right here, Tyrese Halliburton, young star, young guy out there that's about to kill a game, man. I hope the Lakers make something. I hope we could do something here. Come on, Lakers, do something here. Get this guy. As far as the Kings, they have covered 5 straight though. They have covered 5 straight in the meetings with this Celtics team. Celtics was cooking. We do know that the guy coming off a 50 burger, the Tatum kid here, balling out of control. Do I think that this team balls out here in this spot against the Sacramento team at 8? Oh man, that's something I don't want to just jump in front of. As far as this team on the road, though, it's something I don't want to back here either. Even though recently I think they have been all right over the last 3 games, but when you stretch it out to 10 games, then really not that good as far as the Sacramento team. I don't want to jump the gun there, but having guys come back, guys getting healthy, guys being added onto the floor like Rashawn Holmes, like Tyrese Halliburton, and then you're getting guys that's been playing pretty well in Davis, now being able to get acclimated into the lineup with those guys being balling out at their level. I could see this Kings spot being very close. As far as the Celtics team, they do have the advantage down low as far as the athleticism. I think Robert Williams will kind of be a little bit better than the boys down low, even though Rashawn Holmes is something not to be messed with, but it's still going to be a little bit more of a body style, body type, a little bit more of an advantage as far as lengthwise there. So I do think that the Kings do keep it close here. As far as the Celtics side, I don't have anything here. I do think Marcus Smart probably does go over his assists here. I think it's juiced up at 5.5, maybe even at 6.5 in some spots before I hopped on here. I think I seen. So if we get the 5.5 at plus money, that's money. But we ain't getting that. We're getting juiced up there for the 5.5 with the Marcus Smart. So I think he gets 6 assists tonight, but I'm not touching that prop. Other than that, Tyrese Halliburton, we're going to go back to the well with this. It's no question. Double-double. I think we could get the double-double here at still plus money, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure I could give you guys not still line. 1 second. No, they don't have it available here. They don't have it available. But it gave me a plus 200 there earlier. I don't think we're going to be able to get no plus 200 on no Tyrese Halliburton. I guess maybe it was a glitch here or something, but other than that, though, that's the only thing I'm liking here as far as Tyrese Halliburton over 9.5 assists, which is not on the board right now. I'm not sure what's going on there, but which is strange, bro.
All the player props have been taken off for Sacramento.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
Something might be up.
Right now. Man. That is never a good sign. That's never a good sign there. But man. I like Sacramento though, plus 8, but with those guys being pulled off the board, I know Fox was considered questionable in this game, so maybe it's him. The reason why, maybe it was him because he was available on the props that I did. So that's probably what it is. He's probably going to be out here. But I was anticipating him being out. That's the reason why I like the 8.5 there. But other than that, though, that's the way I'm looking here.
I get it.
So nothing official because we can't find them.
Cool. Great comment here. Can I shout him out, Jim?
Yes, please do.
Okay, Chris G says, as someone who lives near Boston, this team lets everyone down. Not a fan. Yeah, I mean, the Boston looks like they're going to cover some big favorite spreads once in a while. I'm not going to lose every single time out, but how long have we seen? I haven't seen this for 20 years. A team that is just uninspiring and as a big favorite is a good bet against. And Nut Flush Allen, once again, Sacramento has been a great spot. When they are large dogs on a live bet, the numbers get ridiculously high. Great live bet. Awesome call, Nut Flush Allen. That might be the best way to look at this game in general. Just sit back and bet it live when you get a huge number on the Kings. They will, Boston, if they do get out to a big lead, not likely to hold it.
God, I want sorry, I Dennis, you know that I want nothing more than to do the Pegasus on Saturday, but I'm not going to be able to, it looks like, and it breaks my heart to say that. But let's focus here. So if Wham Bam adds in a Halliburton prop, we will know. I think that I should wait if De'Aaron Fox is announced out and get a better line on Sacramento. I think that would be the spot. But
that's what we think is happening here. There's going to be some players out for Sacramento, and it's going to go.
It would just be De'Aaron Fox or do you think it's possible, Wham, that it was pulled off the board because he's going to be in?
That's another reason why I'm like, damn, what the fuck, bro? I thought he was going to be in, though, when I seen him in available. So, man, I don't know, bro. I don't know. This shit got me kind of spooked now, bro.
It's really about him, though. This is about Boston. Just shouldn't be that big of a favorite.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he wasn't available, but you know what? I would say here though, bro. What do you think about the total here? The total, both of these guys. I mean, as far as the team, you don't want to take a under in the Sacramento Kings, but I think that's kind of more at the house, not really on the road. In this game, would you think is a under in this spot?
I mean, the total has gotten bet down, but I'm assuming that's because of anticipation of. It's weird.
All the money, all the tickets have come in on the over.
Right.
And it's not moving towards the over.
Right.
So a definite red flag there. Okay, let's keep rolling there. We got spreadsheet play today is locked in on Sacramento +9. Let's move on to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Finally, we get to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers, 23-24, 8-12 on the road at Brooklyn Nets, 29-17, 12-11 at home at Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. Lakers 2-3 over their past 5, 17th in pace at 97.70 possessions a game, while the Nets are 3-2, 13th in pace at 98.00 possessions a game. Let's move over to the market here. We have Lakers opening up at 2.5, and they're still there. There has been an 8-cent move at Pinnacle towards them. This total at 227 right across the board. Then we go to the cash flow here, and we have 7,477 tickets in. 55% of the tickets on Brooklyn, 72% of the cash on them. Then just 34% of the tickets on the under, and 60% of the cash on the under. Lakers coming off their second loss in 3 games, 113-107 at the Heat. LeBron goes for 33 points and 11 boards. Lakers answered that 4-game winning streak by going 2-5 over their past 7, breaking Laker fans' hearts. They're getting closer to getting AD back.
I think he's supposed to be back, I read.
It appears he's not quite ready to return, but I'll double check. Well, Wam will know. Wam will know. So that's what I have here. There's say what?
Where? There he is. Say AD, right? There you go.
Yeah. Is he playing tonight?
Yeah, he's playing tonight. He's expected to play. They have him probable, upgraded from questionable to probable, so he's expected to play today.
Okay, great call, Pete. They're 7-10 without him. Nets had their 2-game winning streak snapped to 136-125 loss at Minnesota on Sunday. 2-2 since Durant went down. 6-8 in their past 14. 2-6, but 2 wins in 8 games in their past 8 home spots. And it's going to be all Harden all the time. He's coming off a really bad game with 13 points. Dennis Garcia says, go Nets, go wrong team favored. What do you think here? Loshak, Lakers, Nets.
Something's telling me under 227, baby.
All right. We have a feel on
those glasses.
Under here. And
that's
it hasn't
snap
moved.
Him down pick. Right after I say it, I snap him down.
A glass
Davis is going to be back. I don't see this as being a big shootout in the middle of the week at Brooklyn, and I think the total will be kept high because AD will be back. That's a high total. I've been at some of those games at the Barclays Center. I have, even though I'm not really a big sports fan, Jimmy the Bag. I have been at Barclays Center's games this year. I think I'm going to take under 227.
I don't think not a big sports fan is the right term.
Right. I didn't want to open that can of worms, but you know what I'm saying, Jimmy. I have been to Nets games this year. 227 under. I like it.
Wham, bam. What do you think of that?
Yeah, man. I like the Lakers too. I like the Lakers today. I like the under. I like the under too. I like the under as well. You've seen the Lakers kind of change their style. They've been going tending towards the under. It's tough though, bro. It's tough to back the under here. And the reason being because you've seen the Lakers countless time at the time. You've seen them time at the time, give AD, put AD out there on the island, if we would say. But this time they got a little bit more reinforcement now. I'm not going to really put too much into this breakdown about Stanley Johnson, but I will say having him on the wing is a lot better than not having him on the wing from what else that we have available on our roster. So I think him and AD in the lineup together is going to be something that I'm really keying in on as far as our defensive effort and as far as what we can do as far as, physically, what can we do physically against the opponent? I think that's going to be a big key in seeing what those other guys do and Russell Westbrook and LeBron, how they're going to react to as well defensively, because they can still be capable of playing good defense. It's just can they do it consistently enough? It's very tough to say after what we've seen as of late with the Lakers. But in this game, I do like the under. I did take the Lakers at the 2.5. I do like the Lakers in this game. I think they are going to win this spot. they haven't been able to hold down the paint, allow them just about 50 points the whole year, wire to wire, being bottom tier at that without AD in the lineup. I think having something added, with AD coming back may help them a lot here. I don't know what they're going to do as far as the minutes restriction. That's the interesting part about this. The way the Lakers have been doing their minutes restriction, it's kind of weird. They've been just allowing these guys to let the coach know when they want to get back in and out the lineup, which is kind of strange there. But as far as this game, I think AD does play enough games to impact this game without KD on the line on the floor for the Nets. That's the problem here. That's another reason why I like the under here, because you're really just keying in on a few guys, Patty Mills, to not beat us like he did last game. I think they're not going to let Patty Mills beat us like he did last game. That's another reason why I do like this Lakers spot here. As far as it's tough though, man, I'm not gonna lie, it's tough. It's tough to be up in here and tell you guys that I like the Lakers. I got all this Lakers shit on. I got the Laker background, and this shit is not happy. I mean, I'm not happy to do this shit, to be honest with you. But that's the problem with the Lakers. You could fucking make a point and an argument for them every game. Every game, they could actually have a very good reason to take them. I think this reason is a lot more better than what the Nets is. And that's the reason why I'm taking them here. I took the 2.5. I think we're getting threes now. So I'll take the 3 as official play here. But it's just one of those things, man. I ain't gonna lie. I don't feel good doing this. But I believe that this is the spot here. I think the Lakers do play a little bit better offense with AD in the lineup as well. You've seen them being able to score. LeBron already said that he's in the best offensive groove he's ever been in his whole career, however long that shit was, since the 1980s, I guess. You know what I'm saying? His whole life. This is the best he's ever played. So I think he does play good today, and I think AD kind of just fits in, even if he doesn't play up to the potential of 25 points or any of that nature. I think his impact will still be shown. The Lakers should cover this game.
Wham on the Lakers -2.5 -109. I like this underlook.
You can throw that on 227 -105. Current line at Pinnacle.
227 -105 from Loshak. I'm going to ride with that underlook. I think that makes sense here. Tail. Okay, we keep moving. Next up, 8 p.m. Eastern, San Antonio Spurs at Houston Rockets. We have Ick Schnizzle. It says, just locked in Spurs Rockets first quarter over 60 at -115. Wants you to touch on that, and I hope if either of you guys could do that, that would be great for our guy, Ohio's finest, Mr. Ick Schnizzle, who's going to be partying with us in San Antonio, baby. Spurs, Rockets, Toyota Center, Houston, Texas. Spurs 2-3 over their past 5, 22nd in pace at 96.70 possessions a game, 8-15 on the road. Both teams' pace has been going down considerably, both the Spurs and the Rockets. Rockets were playing at a really high 105 possessions a game pace as of last week. That's down over the past 5 to now 101.80 possessions a game. And the Rockets still fourth, though, in pace. So let's move over to the spread in this spot. We have San Antonio opening up at -4, Pinnacle at 5, but the other books at 5.5. Not all the other books, 50-50. Then this total at 235 has dropped down to 233.5. Then we move over to the cash flow here, and we see 74% of the tickets, 86% of the cash on the Spurs on the spread, and 65% of tickets, 86% of cash on the under, and moving to the under. Spurs come in off their second straight loss, 115-109 at home to the Sixers. Total goes 25-10, and that's the 16th double-double of the season. DeJounte Murray, 19 points, 12 assists, finished a rebound away from his third straight triple-double and 10th on the season. Rockets had their 2-game winning streak snapped in a tight 105-103 loss at Golden State on Friday. It was a really angry for me. I was 6-0 Friday in NBA, then 6-1, 6-2. Then this was my last game on the board, and I had the Rockets first half team total over when they covered the first half so easily, and it was upsetting. Dennis Garcia said the Spurs getting steamed. Houston at 6 is an automatic play. Houston at 6. I have it at 5 right now here, but I will refresh that. Peter Loshak, what do you think of this spot, Spurs Rockets?
I looked at this one. The line didn't make sense to me. The change in style of play was concerning. I just wanted to hear your analysis. No opinion in this one.
Take it away here, Wham Bam.
Yeah, man, this is one of those games that we haven't locked in anything action on as well. There's a lot of earlier games here, especially as all the games that we broke down so far are 4:30 Pacific Standard Time, which will be 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. The later games kick off. This is the first one. I think this game is very interesting. I think it is very interesting. I think the line is set because of that too. I think it's based off the time placement. The line is weird as well, based off of that too. So this game is kind of crazy because you don't expect the Houston Rockets to play any defense as far as here, but they actually haven't been that bad. They have been still bad, you know what I mean? Like still, bottom 10, but they haven't been that bad. They're still 21st. They're not as bad as like, the Wizards really. And that's the reason why I stay away from there. But as far as this game in the Houston Rockets, like you said, they're third in pace. They're going to have that pace. This total is set at 233.5 for a reason. You're going to see the Spurs, give it up in the paint. They're one of those bad teams. Like I was mentioning, the Lakers, they're right below the Lakers at 27th in opponents' points in the paint. They're giving up 52 points per game. I think the Houston Rockets can exploit that, even though they do shoot a lot of threes. You may see Grayson Matthews just shoot a lot of threes here. My guy, Marnie Brooks, I do like his prop in here. I do like Devin Vassell, another guy that I've been riding, that both of those guys hit their props last game. I do like those guys in this game as well, but it has nothing that I put in yet. But that's the way I'm kind of going. I'm thinking Devin Vassell, maybe over points, maybe Marnie Brooks if we're able to get those props available to us. But as far as the team side, the total, I'll say the total is kind of out of my reach here. I think I would like the over in this game, but I don't think you're going to, I don't want to be banking on these guys to have 120 each here. So I'm going to just stay away from the total. And as far as the side, it's such a short number. I think I would agree. If you get a 6 here with the Houston Rockets, I think they may be able to win this game too. So it's just a tough, tricky game, though. But this will be considered what I would say a backwood on our show because it's just too tricky as far as that. But I honestly do think I could get busy with these props. I think Devin Vassell and Amani Brooks, if we can find those available, I think those guys can get to like 14 points here between the two there. So I do like those props in this game. And as far as the what else I was going to say, my apologies. Yeah, and that's the way I'm leaning towards the side is Houston. My apologies.
Looking at with these two teams' pace, 96.7 possessions a game for the Spurs and 101.8 possessions a game for the Rockets, how could they possibly get to 234?
That shit crazy, bro.
What are they going to hit 58% from the field?
Well, as of late, the Houston Rockets, they're third in pace, over the last not my apologies, not fourth in pace, my apologies. Fourth in pace over the last 5 games. So they had the pace. And as far as their efficiency, they haven't been there efficiency wise though. But they've been fifth in that category, actually, my apologies. So they've been fifth in efficiency, 55%, 55.7%. And a lot of that has to do with them shooting threes, like I was mentioning there as well. And Grayson Matthews, I'm sorry, he had an 8.3 game not too long ago. So he has a lot to do with that as well. But yeah, man, I could see the over. It's just I think it's out of reach, bro. So I would agree with you. Maybe it's a little maybe I should be thinking the other side toward the under, but I just don't want to do it.
We just remember Spurs Rockets playing recently in the game going, super high scoring. I'm going against this. Their pace is just too slow of late. I'm going to move on the full game under here. Pistol, you're looking sharp. You did take the glasses off. You adding anything?
I would love to join you on the under, but I just can't quite right now. But it makes sense to me, Jim.
Let's move. And Nutflush, I want to hear what you have to say about that because this pace that's just a ridiculous number in my estimation here. Chris G saying Martin starting tonight most likely. So the Oilers have moved to now minus 160. I told you that initial move was to the Canucks. I'm not sure what to do with that game anymore. It's the market's moving a little too quickly for my liking. And JT Miller's on the ice for the Knuckleheads. So the Exchange says, I think we get this first quarter over 60. Rockets start hot, and I think Spurs roll with them. I agree with the under full game. And Bain is coming in from Memphis. He's cleared protocol. It says astute chaos. Okay. So let's move on to Mavericks Golden State. Now, both Astute Chaos and Dan Kelly are moving on this game sort of in different directions. Astute Chaos is on Dallas Golden State Warriors first half under 107.5. And we have Dan doubling up on Dallas +4 at -117, as well as Dallas Golden State Warriors over 211. Second to last game on the card, Mavericks 27-20, 12-11 on the road. Warriors 34-13, 21-4 at home at Chase Center in Frisco. Dallas 4-1 over the past 5, 21st in pace, just slightly slower than the Warriors, who are 3-2, 20th in pace at 96.88 possessions a game. We have the Warriors opening up at -3 to now -3.5. This total opening up at 209.5, and it's at 211.5 or 212. It is climbing. Sammy Culmer also on the Mavs. When we go to the cash flow in this game, let's see what Danny A is saying. Mavs smacking the Warriors today. We have 7,061 tickets in, 61% of the tickets, 66% of the cash on the Mavericks, and then we have 26% of tickets, 90% of cash on the under. Mavericks bounced back from their 109-101 loss at home to the Suns by defeating Memphis at home 104-91 on Sunday. Warriors coming off their second straight win, 94-90. Wasn't it 10? Oh no, 94-92 at home over Utah on Sunday. 94-92. This is their 5th game of a 7-game homestand. Traditionally, a spot that I like quite a bit. Take it away here, Pistol Pete, Mavericks Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, the Mavs playing great defense and the Warriors slumping offensively. And I think those are both fundamental things. I was thinking about Dallas plus the points. The total, I had no real opinion on. It's interesting that Dan Kelly likes the over and that the total has gotten bet up as of right now just a bit. I was thinking Mavs. I mean, the Warriors, what's up with them? Do they legitimately suck, or are they basically awesome but just slumping a little bit recently? Because I'm an inch away from taking the Mavs here plus the points.
Wham, take it away.
Man, it's Draymond Green. Draymond Green not being available in this game. And he's going to be extended. I mean, I've seen here through some insiders that I follow, he may be extended as far as how long he's out. This may be the Warriors slumping for a while, and maybe maybe the market hasn't caught up to it yet. And this team, like you mentioned, as far as the culture has already changed with Dallas, they play a lot better defense. We've seen them hitting all the unders. They're playing really good defense against the team. Like you said, they're slumping. I can only go here with the team, and they own this team over the last 8 meetings, winning 7 of those. Man, I mean, I just would go Dallas here. I do think you're going to find Luka playing a lot better offensively than what you've seen him. He had to get in shape, similar to what you've seen James Harden had to do. But James Harden still have been slumping here, so that can be neither there. But he got back in shape here. I think you're going to see that a little bit more with Luka. As far as the props that I did like here in this game, again, I haven't bet this one, but this one is definitely the next up for me. It's going to be Luka over 8.5 rebounds. I think he gets over that for sure. He's just one of those dudes. They giving him the rebounds. This is similar to like what you see with Russell Westbrook. They're just clearing out the way for him to get the rebound because they don't have to pass on the ball. He's going to walk the ball up. So I do like Luka over 8.5 rebounds there. Again, I haven't locked that in, but what I did lock in is Denver. I got him on a money line here. I'm not sure what we're getting right now. I think you're getting that plus 134, maybe even plus 140 in some spots. Maybe we could get plus 140. That would be nice, but I like the money line here for Denver. Dallas. I'm sorry, Dallas. I think Dallas does win this game. Luka plays well. Bronson continues to play well. I would expect Steph probably to figure it out sooner or later, though. So that's kind of the reason why I don't want to take the under. I don't want to take an under, and Steph could go off. And it's a low total, 211. It's pretty low for a Warriors game. I would say that, especially being at the Warriors, that's pretty low total, man, if you think about being at their house. So I do want to stay away from that, but I think Dallas, I keep saying Denver, I'm sorry. I think Dallas pulled it off here. So 3.5, I would say that's a good play there as well. Maybe you know what? I'll split it up because I'll take the 3.5 and then I'll take the money line. So I'll take both of those as a unit for official picks there. For me.
Okay, YouTube everything saying Warriors are not losing, which is an are not comment, which is also a very strong type. But then right underneath, there's an opposing are not comment. Marcus Anderson, Warriors without Green, not going to win versus Mavs.
They can't, bro.
Wow.
Looney has been playing exceptional, though. I will say that, and he's been going over his props. I probably will be looking into that too. Looney, when I watch his games, I just gotta bet his props. He's been everywhere there for the Warriors. So that's a guy I would be looking at. Clay can bounce back as well, but I'm gonna leave it to you, Pete. I'm sorry for cutting you off, sir. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. The Mavs have been legit rolling. They're going to be fully motivated here, right?
I believe so. I believe they've been like that the whole time. So they had points in the season that Luka was out the lineup, points in the season that KP was out the lineup. Those guys still been buying into what Jason Kidd's been preaching. I mean, you got to give him credit. You got to give him credit, man. And he's been definitely turned this around. I think they're giving Luka what he wants. We know what he did about Rick Carlisle. So, we know the reports based off of that. He was unhappy there. So I think he is happy in this spot. He doesn't have to hold the ball all the time. So it's being distributed around. Jalen Brunson is a real key point in this offense. So I think that alone, having that guy right there with that motivation, he's always going to be gritty. We've seen him in college. He's been that type of guy. I think he's going to be one of those guys that keep everybody focused. You know what I mean? So I think they can be focused in this game. And I do like them to win wire to wire. So I would say first quarter, first half, but just because I like them so much, I took a pretty good size on the money line, and I'm going to also hate that 3.5.
Well, I can get you a 4 at -114, so not a lot of juice. That's over at circa.
I'll take that. I'll take
Yeah,
it, Jim. You can give me that. Dallas +4 -113.
All right, so Wham and Pete on that. This, I completely get it. Without Draymond on the floor, Dallas is a better basketball team. But the 5th game of a 7-game homestand, when you have not been shooting well, you get that consistency and that continuity does concern me. I expect Golden State to show with a higher field goal percentage that they're kind of rolling. Not that I disagree with both your looks. I think both looks make sense, but I do expect –
I'm just worried because Dallas was such a, they were struggling for an extended period of time, and then they figured things out, and then they started kicking ass and clamping down and this and that with a great win in their last game on their homestand, and now they go on the road against, the Warriors clearly in a buy low spot. Whether you should buy them or not, I don't know, but it's a buy low spot for them. So
Well put. Schnizzle going to add the under on his card. Marcus Anderson's, these Mavericks are 12-11 on the road on the year, and the Warriors are 21-4 at home. All right, that's a stay off at this point for me. Let's go on to the final game on the card.
Let me pull it, Jim. Let me pull it back, Jim. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I don't want to make it official right now. It's just it is a buy low, but it's like there does seem to be something fundamentally off right now, at least with Steph, right? With Steph Curry.
There was the hand injury, and Sammy Coleman just put up all of his. He just put up all of his field goals.
Let's move on. I'll hold off for now.
Okay. All right. There's Mark Schillingberg back in action with us. He went away from a little while. Yes, we've been on for 2 hours and 41 minutes. This is our last game on today's card. Minnesota Timberwolves 23-23, 10-13 on the road at Portland Trailblazers, 20-26, 14-11 at home at Moda Center in Portland, Oregon. Minnesota 3-2, third in pace over their past 5 games, 101.90 possessions a game, while Portland 4-1, 10th in pace at 99.20 possessions a game. Let's take a look at the market here. We have Minnesota opening up as 2.5-point road favorites. That's now 3 right across the board. And this total that opened up at 229.5 has shot up to 232.5. The cash flow here, we have 4,060 tickets in, so 10,000 less than what's in Pelicans Sixers, as an example. We have 27% of the tickets on Portland Trailblazers, Minnesota public, but 73% of the cash. So big bets have come in on this home dog that's playing better basketball. 35% of tickets on the over. So public actually on the under, but 99% of the cash on the over. We've seen it climb 3 points. So Wolves coming off their third win in 4 games. Let's keep this tight. 136-125 at home versus the Nets. Blazers coming off their second straight win, 114-105 at the Raptors. And they look good. They look good against Toronto. They look good against Boston. Can they keep it rolling? We'll start with Pistol Pete. Wolves, Blazers.
The line didn't make sense to me earlier this year. Portland was a 3-point home fave against Minnesota. Now they're a 3-point dog. Is that just because of Lillard, or is there someone else that I'm forgetting about? I was thinking I didn't understand why Portland's a home dog.
What do you think, Wham Bam?
They're a home dog because They just been pretty much bad. You do have Norman Powell is questionable. A few other guys are probable here, but Nasir Little did play last game. I think he is going to be pretty much going to play today. I do like McCollum props here. Again, I haven't bet these yet, but these are the plays I'm looking here in this spot. It's going to be Nasir Little over 1.5 3-point makes. That has been a consistent hitter so far this year. Finally got some cohesiveness with McCollum back in the lineup, so I think him and McCollum will play pretty well in this good spot here. Minnesota, as far as offensively, they kind of been very, very live. So I expect them to play really well here. I do think this is a high total. I expect both of these guys to be scoring on each other here, though. As far as Portland, I like 20. I like the 20.5 points for CJ McCollum and the 1.5 threes for Nasir Little. Again, I haven't bet these officially here, so it's nothing that we're gonna have to see. I'm gonna have to, tweet these out later on once I make these official. But other than that'll be probably the only way I'm looking here in this game. This is such one of those games that at the end of the day, if I'm having a bad day, I ain't probably gonna put this shit in. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm having a good day, we're probably gonna have this. We're probably gonna have for sure Nasir Little over 1.5 threes. That'll be the first one, and then the next one will be CJ McCollum over 20.5 points.
We will keep an eye out for Trot Wam's Twitter account. I'm not moving on that spot. Let's review NBA action right now from Dan Kelly. He's on the Pistons +7. The Hornets team total over 109.5. The Mavericks +4 at -117 is Dan Kelly. And the Mavericks Warriors over 211. That over makes sense to me. And I know that these teams – let's just go back to it really quickly here because I can understand that these teams aren't playing with a lot of pace, but I just feel like the Warriors are going to shoot well here and the Mavericks are going to have to stay in line. We've seen that this.
I didn't get to mention either. TNT loves Luka, and Luka loves TNT, y'all. Be on the lookout, bro. Be on the lookout, man. Be on the lookout for that, bro.
This total's gone way up, though, even though it looks like the big bets have come in on the under. 211.5 right now. God, okay. And we had some cappers in the chat that were confident on that under. Mr. Heat liking the over, but where is it? Schnizzle really liking the under.
And that's the Dallas game?
Yeah, and then Derek Miller saying over how under easy. And Sammy Comer saying, I like the under a lot.
They're killing. I think they're 9 to the under the last 10.
All right, that's going to require more time for me. More time. Let's go back to the action here. So that's Dan Kelly. When we get over to Astute Chaos, he's on Denver, Detroit, first half over 112.5. Charlotte, Toronto, first half under 113.5. And Dallas, Golden State Warriors, first half under 107.5. And says, that's why I'm only on that first half. And YouTube says, Mavs to the floor looks like a gift, but it's not a trend. It's not. It says, tread carefully is what he meant right there. Okay, so Wham is on the Pistons first half over 110.5 -107. Loshak's on the Pistons +7.5 -106. I've yet to move on that spot. Peter is on the Hornets +3.5 at -108. I am going to move on the Washington Wizards. I know that sounds nuts, but I'm going to do that. I also want to know what the Pelicans first quarter is, but I'll wait till much closer to tip off. It's only 2.5 right now, and the first half is at 6. So clearly there's an idea that these bench players will step up and fight hard in the first quarter. Loshak's on the under 212 in Pelicans, Philadelphia. That's at +101. And Wham's on the Sixers -11 at -106. The spreadsheet play today in basketball is Sacramento +9. Wham looking at a double-double for Halliburton, but we will keep an eye on that. And should I move on the Kings? Is De'Aaron Fox going to be in the lineup? Still some questions to be answered there. Then Loshak's on the under 227 and Lakers Nets. I'm going to come with them. Wham is on the Lakers -2.5 at -109. I'm going to move on this full game under in Spurs Houston as soon as this show's over. Then we get back to that Mavericks Dallas game. Wham wondering about the Doncic over 8.5 rebound prop, and he's moved on Dallas money line +141 and Dallas +4 at -114. And we have not moved on Timberwolves, Portland Trail Blazers. Wham will have some extra player props out here shortly, and we'll know when. He's got his big show NBA Pub Hub at 4 p.m. Eastern. Follow him on Twitter at TrotWAM. Stu Chaos says, as a Wizards fan, I find that wild. That's what Stu Chaos says. At TrotWAM, the politics chat right now. Wham Bam, thank you so much for rolling with us. A big card. We don't usually get these big cards. And please give a big hug to your son for being cool as ice so we could get through this whole thing.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man.
Wham, any last words for the Great Capper Sporting Show?
No, I appreciate you guys for rocking with us, man. Pub Sports Radio. We'll be back at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
There you go. Trot Wam in the house. Okay, let's review the other action here in NHL. Pete is on the Devils team total over 2.5 minus 117. I moved on the Devils at plus 110. There was a goaltending change. Well, not a change because Blackwood was hurt, but I thought Blackwood was coming back. He's not coming back, and they're now at plus 120. I moved on the over 5.5 at minus 125. That has moved to 6 at bet 365. So I feel good about that. And Pete's on that team total over 2.5. We've stayed off of Arizona, Pittsburgh. Pete moved on the Hurricanes money line with no fear on that minus 183 juice. That was a spot where I destroyed the market move. I got minus 160 on the money line and plus 150 on the puck line. The Hurricanes are now minus 230 on the money line and plus 115 on the puck line. So I like that. Next up for Pete and I in NHL is he's on the Islanders minus 1 at minus 156 and the team total under 2.5 at minus 165. Ron Crawford is on the Islanders in regulation. I got the Islanders minus 185 and money line puck line plus 130. Give me a minus 124, minus 1 line. And they are now minus 270. So, Pete, I think that's the biggest market move I've beaten of the year. That's 85 cents. Holy shit.
Wow. Coming out? Am I dropping out?
Oh, no, you're good. Sorry, you're good. You're a little.
The Islanders line moved even more.
Mm-hmm.
So I did beat a small move then with my pick earlier in the show. Very nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, you did.
I think we're on the right side there, Jim.
I got you, Jose. That sounds great. So then, so I'll just do college after this. So then, Loshak's on the under 6.5 minus 108 at Pinnacle in Florida, Winnipeg, and I really like that breakdown, Pete. So for better or for worse, I'm going to follow that. I thought that was a really interesting way of looking at it, and it went against what I think most people will see in that game, and I like it. So I'm going to add that. Then the Edmonton Oilers Vancouver Canucks game. It's been very interesting. So as I said. The first initial move was towards the Canucks. And I was thinking, well, who is going to be back? Is Thatcher going to be back? And is JT Miller going to be back? I mean, we have Bo Horvat out. We have Connor Garland out. That's 3 of your top 6 forwards out of the lineup. And who is going to be back? It's been interesting because only JT Miller was on the ice at this point, but I'm going to double check that. So just to kind of reiterate this here with this spot, we had at 1:05 p.m., this came out yesterday, and Oilers were minus 133. Immediately a 10-cent move towards the Canucks. Oilers go down to minus 123. Then today, people have been moving on the Oilers, but listen to this. I guess the JT Miller being on the ice has come up because it got up to minus 160, and it's now come back. There's been a 13-cent move back to the Canucks. So the Oilers are minus 147 there. Fascinating. I love this shit, and I'll be keeping a very close eye on it because I want the Oilers, but I want a better line. And if JT Miller is back, he's such a leader, and the Canucks have been playing with a lot of heart. Maybe I just stay off this. Should I trust an Oilers team that's not looked good? And if it's one of these minor leaguers in net, I probably do move on the Oilers. Then I'm on the Seattle Kraken, and that, as I've bragged about the market moves I've destroyed, I lost this market move very badly. I was at plus 140, and right now the Kraken are at plus 155. And then in college basketball, Taint play of the day's UCLA plus 3.5. Max is on Duke minus 11, full game minus 6 first half. Syracuse first half minus 2. Texas TCU first half over 56.5. And the Air Force at plus 115. Pete moved on Toledo, team total over 80.5 at minus 106. And that is the recap of today's action. Oh.
And hello, how are we?
We are good. This was a battle. It was a long show. We fought the good fight.
Yeah, we did. Pete, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm noticing I'm having a little bit of unexpected internet issues. I don't know why. I restarted my router and modem before the call, and I unplugged in. But I did notice I was getting a little disconnected. So that might happen in the last few minutes of this show. Maybe that's a sign from the universe saying that we should end it before 2:00 Eastern time.
Pete. I'll try to finish in this here like 2 minutes. Well, first of all, do you want NFL breaking news?
Yes.
Sean Payton stepping away. Not going
Wow.
to be Saints coach. The Bears hired their general manager. His name's Ryan Poles, very close to Ryan Pace. But Saints Sean Payton stepping down was a big one.
Wow.
Secondly, the other breaking news here is that if you didn't see on Twitter, we finally announced it, Jimmy. The long-awaited thing that we've been teasing out for maybe I don't know, since you got here, since you started Pub Sports Radio, we've talked about doing this. Pete, I think this will fit your vibe. You said you were a hippie today. We're announcing Pubapalooza.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you. Pubapalooza happening March 21st through the 31st here in jolly old San Antonio. We're all gathering up, a great time, 10 days of events throughout the week. I'm looking at a tentative schedule right now that we're not going to announce because we have to finalize things, but I'm looking at the schedule and a lot of things on there. It's going to be a great week. You're coming, Jimmy. Pete, I talked to Pete about coming, Jim.
I just heard about it just today.
Yeah, I talked to Pete about coming. I'm going to tease him into coming. We're going to get him into it. Yeah. So I'm going to convince Pete to come. A lot of people have already confirmed coming. Ghoster's coming. Our boy Guillermo earlier in the show, he's coming. Big Show's coming. If you like psychopaths, Preston Ekdal's coming. He's definitely crazy.
DJ Big Boss, Trot
DJ
Wam.
Big Boss, yes. Trot Wam, of course, he told me also. Both of them told me they were coming for sure, yes. So, yes, I'm also coming. I live here, so that is also helpful. But, yes, everyone, if you can come, do come. If you live in Texas, drive down. We will have a good time. Shout out to my man Cab, who lives in Dallas. I'm sure he'll be here. But I do not know you are officially coming unless you are tweeting at us under that tweet that I will send again. I put it in the chat earlier. Is our official announcement tweet. I have it pinned to our Twitter account. But I have been telling people, go put yourself in there. Go comment, say, oh, yeah, I'm coming, blah, blah, blah. Just so I know that you're coming because I'm creating a list of people that are coming so we get a general head count and all that good stuff so we can have enough of whatever we're doing for everyone. I don't want to leave anyone out.
Absolutely. Oh, God, I can't wait. It's going to be heaven. It's going to be absolute heaven. I'll be there for 2 weeks, 14 days, baby. 14 days. I'm trying to figure it out, though. I might miss the first day. I can only get 14 days away from my family. That's the limit. And I want to be there for the championship game on Monday, April 4th. So I might do Tuesday to Tuesday and miss the first day, but I'll figure that shit out. Yes. Mark Schellenberg says, I'm one of these days I'll be able to join you for a Pubapalooza. Yes, it's going to be huge. It's going to be so much fun. But let's get that cash tonight, right now. We have the joy of Tuesday shows with Pistol Pete Loshak fighting a good fight. We love you, Pete. Thank you for your hustle. Pete, can you do NFL show for us for the conference finals tomorrow? Just a quick little banger.
Sure. Last week was very frustrating, Jim, because I had some picks as usual that I liked, but I didn't give out. But I tweeted out, and one of them won, and two of them lost. So it is a little bit psychologically frustrating after my overall performance last week. But look, anything you want, I'll do it.
All right, Pistol Pete for our big show tomorrow night when we break down the conference finals.
Jimmy, you want to is that another guest? Another guest you might have on that show?
Yes, Jose Bouquet will be making his NFL Pub Hub debut.
We've made it! Only 11 units up, but we finally did it!
If you had told me 8 years ago you're going to be on the same show as this guy, I would have been like, the fuck out of here. But, like funny twists and turns. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just busting your balls, Jose Bouquet. I'm proud to be on a show with you. I'm proud to be sharing a show with you. You're a better handicapper than I am at this moment. You're better handicapper than, not as good as Nutflesh Allen, but better than me for sure.
And better than me as well. Sitting at plus 11.65 units is our Jose Bouquet. Thank you guys so much for watching. You put so much energy to the show. We have no show without you. Pete and I always knew how special our chat was, and we love giving you a voice. We care very much about what your moves are, and we like to be correlated with your action. There's Deacon Mike in the house, Sterling Gentry, Dad Fan, Jared TG, Dennis Garcia, Nutflush Allen, Mark Schillingberg, Cabby, Dabs in the house, YouTube, everything, Archie Bunka, Alex Ramirez, Star the Spidey play of the day, Sammy Calmer, Astute Chaos, Derek Miller, all you guys, thank you so much for your hustle. B Diddy 548, TJ, God, I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Let's get that cash. Let's stay hot. Wednesday to Friday was glorious. Swept the weekend. More winners right now. On behalf of all of us, thank you guys, and let's go. Leche, hey, those bookmakers,